nation's most festive time of the year is underway, and with it, a parade of football's traditional rivalries. For more than 20 years, college fans have feasted on Nebraska and Oklahoma. The Huskers and Sooners were the founding fathers of the modern-day running football attack. The game has featured Heisman winners and legendary runners, and once a year at holiday time, the spirit of those pigskin pilgrims is rekindled. Gibbs has started a new era of Sooner football. He still has the rugged running attack, but all eyes in Oklahoma are on freshman quarterback Cale Gundy. Meanwhile, Nebraska has annihilated all of its opponents except one, and Tom Osborne has the Cornhuskers headed right back to New Year's Day. It's Nebraska and Oklahoma coming up next. It's a CFA Friday, and we welcome you to the harvested plains of Oklahoma. You know, the cold, wintry months are straight ahead. But in the meantime, the kissing cousins of the Big Eight are about to meet right out in the backyard. So pull up a chair and check out this special holiday edition of college football. It's 10th ranked Nebraska against the Oklahoma Sooners. Turkey and dressing on Thursday. The appetite returns on Friday. They're lined up for hot dogs and hamburgers outside Owen Field here in Norman, Oklahoma. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Nance, and all of us at CBS Sports hope you're experiencing a joyous Thanksgiving weekend. Today, you're going to see 10th-ranked Nebraska attempt to win its 10th game of the year. The Huskers have lost only one time this year, and that was to number 1 ranked Colorado. And while Nebraska is going to a New Year's Day bowl game to take on Georgia Tech in the Citrus, Oklahoma is not going bowling. They're 7-3 on the year, and they have an exciting freshman quarterback named Cale Gundy, who today will be out to gun down the mighty Cornhuskers. Part of our caravan on the college football coverage includes our favorite studio duo, and they're riding up right now near game time. Let's take it across the plains and bring in Andrea Joyce and Mike Francesa.
You know, when you come out to a game like this and you talk to fans like Nebraska fans, with Nebraska being 9-1 and ranked 10th, you find a lot of support for a playoff this year.
I think the way things have gone, and they're really not being a clear-cut number 1 team, there is a pronounced cry this year for a playoff. And I think you see in this past week, coaches, prominent coaches, Lou Holtz, Caden Fry saying, hey, maybe we should be able to put something in. Maybe we need a playoff format to settle this thing.
Now, how would you do it, though? Because you'd have to start out slowly. You couldn't start out like the NCAA basketball tournament.
I think what will happen is the bowls will stay intact, and they will put together a ranking system, AP, UPI, maybe some kind of blue ribbon panel to pick the top 4 teams after the bowls are played. So I think we'll start off with a Final Four, and it'll take off from there.
Okay, we've got our tickets for the game. We're actually going to watch one this season in the stands. The only problem is that your seat is on the Nebraska side.
I don't think it matters much. I don't think I have a home side in the Big 8 this year.
All right, we will be back to Norman, Oklahoma after a message and a word from your local station.
Back in Norman, Oklahoma, and come take a ride with us on the Sooner Schooner.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Our special Schooner cam. And right now, let's take it down to the sidelines and bring in my partner. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Tim Brady.
All right, Jim, it is tradition here at Oklahoma, like it is at so many schools, to honor its seniors on the final home regular season game of the year. Sooner fans are saluting the seniors now, even as we speak. But ironically today, it'll be a young freshman by the name of Cale Gundy, who will have more to say about whether Oklahoma wins or loses than any other player on this field. The coaches here have a lot of trust in this guy. Last year at this time, he was a Parade High School All-American, the most sought-after high school quarterback in the land. As a matter of fact, the coaches have changed the game plan from 3 yards in a cloud of dust to where Cale Gundy will throw now maybe 20 times in a game. If the name Gundy sounds familiar, it is. His brother Mike Gundy, the most prolific passer in the history of Oklahoma State University. As a matter of fact, on this Thanksgiving weekend, young Cale wants to send a message to Mike and thank him for paving the way.
I think I kind of got an early lesson in college football, just being around my older brother Mike and watching a lot of film and hanging around the coaching's office. I want to win the game for a lot of reasons, but one of the many reasons I want to win this game is for my brother. You know, he never had the chance to beat Nebraska. They had 2 or 3 great seasons where they played Nebraska very good, and I kind of want to go out and win this one for my brother.
Mike Gundy is here today, and so is the rest of the Oklahoma Sooner team. Here they come. Oklahoma better be sharp today. They're going against one of the best defenses in the country, certainly one of the quickest. And for more on that, let's take you across the field now. Here's John Dockery. Doc.
And thank you, Tim. Tom Osborne would certainly agree with you. He said that this is one of the fastest and quickest defenses he's seen in Nebraska in some 30 years. But you don't just measure a team by its quickness, by its speed, by its size, by its strength, but rather by its heart and its spirit. And in Nebraska, that's epitomized by their defensive tackle, Kenny Walker, who has overcome his deafness, who has learned how to sign, who has learned how to communicate with his teammates without his ears to become an all-star performer. Certainly an inspiration to his team and to his fans in Lincoln, who gave him a standing ovation with a silent clap. Kenny Walker acknowledged by signing "I love you." And now Walker on this Thanksgiving Day, through his interpreter, Mimi Mann, tells us what he has to be thankful for.
I'm thankful that I could come to Nebraska with a good program. I'm thankful for Coach Osborne, for Mimi Mann, because they offered me interpreters. I need to learn in college, and I'm thankful for what I've learned. I'm reminded from Coach Osborne, the first time when he recruited me, he offered me an interpreter. And here's the lady sitting in front of me, Mimi Mann. I'm thankful for coming to Nebraska.
So much warmth, so much to be thankful for from a man who some would say has less. And Jim Nance, if the measure of a man has something to do with the obstacles he's overcome, then Kenny Walker is indeed a very large man and an excellent football player.
He's a giant. Tom Osborne leading out the Huskers, ranked 10th in America. Of the Big Reds, one of college football's classic rivalries, Oklahoma and Nebraska, coming up next on CBS. CBS Sports presents college football, live from Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma. It's the Nebraska Cornhuskers versus the Oklahoma Sooners. Today's CFA game is sponsored by Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Goodyear, the tires that help keep you and your family in touch with the road, rain or shine. And by Bud Dry. Why ask why? Try Bud Dry for refreshment that's beyond question. Absolutely ideal weather conditions for Oklahoma and Nebraska. There's a lot of vitality in these clear skies as the folks at Owen Field get ready for Oklahoma to kick away to Nebraska. The Sooners won the toss and deferred, so we'll see the Huskers on offense right away. Tyrone Hughes to the near side. Nate Turner flank alongside of him. Oklahoma 7-3 on the year. The Sooners feel they were just 2 missed field goals away from having an identical 9-1 record with Nebraska coming into this contest.
Jim, you talk about how this game is not for the title of the conference, and yet down on the field it is electric.
Brad Riddell gets us started. Hughes on one bounce will down it in the end zone. It's a touchback, and Mickey Joseph will lead out the Huskers. He's a junior quarterback from Marrero, Louisiana, only 5 feet 9 inches tall. Joined in the backfield by fullback Lance Lewis and Leotis Flowers, who needs only 73 yards today to go over 1,000. Bostic and Nate Turner are the receivers, and the starting tight end is William Washington, although we'll see a lot of a freshman, Johnny Mitchell, who has caught 7 touchdowns, although he does not start. Evans and Frank Blevins. And how about this Nebraska offensive line, Tim?
Well, it's interesting. You've got Adele right there, the technician at center. And on both sides of him, you've got Shields and Wanek. Now, he is small for an offensive lineman, Wanek is. He's only 6', 245 pounds. Outside, you've got Hunt and Barboon.
Double tight end formation. Johnny Mitchell comes in to join William Washington as the double tight ends. 2nd and 7. They go inside with Lance Lewis and maybe 2 yards. Scott Evans helped on the tackle, along with Stacy Dillard, but it's Corey Mayfield who is the nose tackle for the Sooners defense.
Jim, this defense lacks depth. It plays hard, but it is limited. You see the rest of them, Dillard and Evans. Evans is all-conference Big 8 just announced yesterday, and then Barnes and Good outside of them.
Blevins and Bowden are the linebackers. They're very thin at linebacker as Chris Wilson is out with a foot sprain.
Blevins has had a shoulder problem. He's just now coming back.
3rd down play. Joseph rolling. And with Evans all over him, he just throws it away incomplete. Tom Osborne in his 18th year as the head coach at Nebraska, the winningest active coach in college football by percentage. And Mike Stiggy, a sophomore from Washington, Kansas, will punt for the Huskers. Otis Taylor will return. Low snap, Stiggy fields it. On one hop, Otis Taylor will try the right side and lose yardage on the return. They'll spot the football at the 23 of Oklahoma. Scott Baldwin, a backup running back on the special teams tackle. And now here comes Cale Gundy, the freshman we talked about from Midwest City, Oklahoma. That's right up the road north of Norman. Joined in the backfield by Mike McKinley and Duell Brewer, who's the leading rusher for the Sooners, nearly 800 yards on the year. Warren and Otis Taylor, you just saw him on the return. They're the receivers. And 6'6", Adrian Cooper is the tight end. Kenyon Rashid will start at fullback as they line up in the I. Duell Brewer for a gain of about 4. Reggie Cooper made the stop. Told you Gundy is from Midwest City, Oklahoma. So is the starting center from the same high school, Randy Wallace, for Oklahoma.
Jim, he also could be the most improved player on this Oklahoma team, Wallace. And outside of him, you've ', the strongest player, academic All-Big 8, and the captain, Sawatsky, outside of him. And then there's Miller and Manning outside. Now, Manning's about as big as you'll see as a college player, 6'2", 335 pounds. But Houston, who's been hurt with a knee, moves up and gets the start today.
2nd and 7. Brewer again in the open. Past the 40 and bumped out of bounds at the 43-yard line. First down for the Sooners.
Watch the right side of this offensive line. We told you it's big, it's strong. You see Houston there get his block, push him inside, and then the hole opens up and he just explodes right through it. One thing about Oklahoma, it can run and run effectively, and they will test your perimeter. As soon as you stock up on the perimeter, bring up your safety, get your outside linebackers closing down, the middle becomes soft and they'll attack you there.
Brewer was last year's Freshman of the Year in the Big 8, an award this year that was given to Cale Gundy just last night. On 1st and 10, here's the freshman hot shot, completing his pass to Taylor into Nebraska territory, inside of the 40. A gain of 18.
Talked about Cale Gundy a lot in the past. Most freshmen don't know if the ball is pumped or stuffed. He is very poised, confident, and competitive. This is about as difficult a pass as you can make. Running to your left, then throwing back without any leverage. And he puts it right there for Otis Taylor. Taylor, by the way, starting for Ted Long, who's banged up and out of the game.
Long out with a wrist injury. Gundy, only the 3rd true freshman to ever start at quarterback for Oklahoma. Troy Aikman, remember, he played here first before UCLA. And Jamel Holloway were the other 2. And Brewer gains about 5 to the 34. Hit by Pat Engelbert. And speaking of Engelbert, it starts right there, middle guard, with the junior from Columbus, Nebraska.
He's got to be classified as an overachiever. He had the week off, helped his shoulder, which was banged up. Then you've got Sims and Kenny Walker. Doc told you about Kenny Walker early in the telecast. Only 5% body fat. Tremendous talent. Then Petco and Tyrants. Hill and Kroll are about as good as you'll see. They could run away from Broderick Thomas, but you've got now duo guys outside that are just as good. So now you have to pick your spots.
On 2nd and 5, Rashid stuffed after a yard. Continues to fight, and he fumbled the football. Nebraska has it. Mike Kroll comes up with it.
Here it is again. Rashid fighting for that extra yardage. 238 pounds. He gets stood up by the linebacker. There's Jefferson, number 98, and then there's 40 and 30 right there, Tyrants. But his knee hit. I'm not sure that's a fumble. Matter of fact, it's not. They're going to say that Oklahoma maintains the football.
You know, he was stuffed long enough where they had to have blown the whistle. Kroll came up with it, but it's Oklahoma football. They're going to say he was whistled down before the exchange. So on 3rd down, they go inside again. Oklahoma comes up about a yard shy. Brewer had the run. Mike Petco hit him.
Jim, let me make this point. Oklahoma attacked the perimeter early, then came back and hit the middle, just as we expected they would do. They watched a lot of film of the Colorado game against Nebraska, and in that 4th quarter, when Colorado came back to win it, they penetrated the middle and got all their yardage up through the middle blasts.
So now a field goal attempt coming up for R.D. Lasher with the punter, Brad Waddell, holding. This is the last game for Lasher. He's been the kicker for 3 years from Plano, Texas. 49-yard attempt. No good. Gary Gibbs still encourages his young Sooners to come up empty on their opening possession. Mickey Joseph is the Nebraska quarterback, and he has an angle on this rivalry against Oklahoma.
It means a lot to us. It's still Oklahoma-Nebraska rivalry was going on for the longest, and so far it's been a clean game since I've been here. There's no dirty things going on during the game, and that's the best thing about playing a game like this is that everybody, you know, is fair, and it's going to be a physical game. So one thing I can say about Oklahoma and Nebraska, that it's a hard-hitting game, and it's a physical game, and if you're not ready to get hit, don't put your pads on.
It'll be a tough game for Mickey Joseph, too. He's listed as 5'11". He's really only 5'9". Didn't throw well against Colorado, took some heat for that. When he does throw, it's usually on the rollout to give him a better view.
1st and 10 for Nebraska from its 31 after a missed field goal. They give it to Derek Brown off a wing. And Brown is wrestled down by Joe Bowden. Derek Brown, number 6, decided to change his jersey number before the game today. Played as number 27 all season long. Freshman from...
Eric Anderson changed his too, Jim. I asked some of the people on the sidelines why'd they change just before game time, and they couldn't give us an answer. I don't know if their jerseys were missing or what.
2nd down and 8, we'll call it, for the Huskers. Lewis and Flowers lined up in the I. Sideline route, incomplete. Intended for Tyrone Hughes. Didn't meet the Sooner secondary. Here they are. Darnell Walker starts along with Charles Franks on the corners. And the safeties are Jason Belser and Terry Ray.
Terry Ray fills an important position today. He'll have to fill on the option. Pursuit is paramount against this ball club. Belser, of course, also another key on safety. But Walker's probably the best cover guy, and Charles Franks has been very consistent all year.
Pleasant sent wide to the left on 3rd and 8. Turner in motion. Rolling. Joseph feeling the heat now. Will dance out of the pocket. Look for the 1st down yardage to the 41. He has it and steps out of bounds. And a flag thrown.
Well, there should be, because it was a late hit, and Joseph eventually went down on the bench area over there.
He just told us it's going to be a hard-hitting game. You better be ready for it. Even on the sidelines, I guess.
You know, Osborne criticized Joseph after the Minnesota game for freelancing too much. Nebraska won that game 55-0, and he still got a lot of trouble, and he's not getting up.
Reggie Barnes is the man who hit him out of bounds. Watch number 40.
They're out of bounds right now. You shouldn't even touch him. That sideline's a little bit slippery. I was just down there. It's almost like it's not a hard hit, but a push, and Joseph slid into the bench. It's a bad sign. They're bringing out the gurney. If he has to go out, Mike Grant will come in. He's a junior from Tampa, Florida, who has played a great deal. But Joseph is the guy who is really electric and makes this offense go. There's Grant.
Mike Grant loosening up. He'll be coming in for Mickey Joseph when we return.
By 10:30.
I'm on the sidelines where Mickey Joseph is on the ground right now, and it appears as you watch the replay here, he is taken out of bounds, and you see he's being hit fairly hard. And what appears to have happened is that he went right into the bench as he went out of bounds with some momentum. And the early word from here, as they're working on Mickey Joseph right now, is that he broke his left leg. And it's fairly obvious to everyone around here. We have no official report, Jim Nance, but we'll keep you posted from down here. Back to you.
You know, we had just heard a few minutes before from Mickey Joseph proclaiming this as a clean, hard-hitting series through the years. No cheap shots, no animosity between the two teams. And he's taken out and apparently very seriously injured on a late hit.
We're waiting. Mike Grant will replace him. Talking to Mickey Joseph yesterday, he told us that his mom was making a trip here. She was coming to the ball game and talked to his brother Vance, who's a quarterback at Colorado. He told him Oklahoma hits hard. That was the one thing that Mickey Joseph translated to us. And boy, what a tragedy. Such a fine young man. We enjoyed really talking with him yesterday, and now the early indication is that it is a broken leg. High school All-American in New Orleans, almost went to Oklahoma. His hero was Jamel Holloway, quarterback at Oklahoma.
We are just underway at Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma for 10th ranked Nebraska against the Sooners of Oklahoma. A beautiful day here early in the first quarter, and Oklahoma drove on its first possession, missed a field goal. Nebraska with the football for the second time, and starting quarterback Mickey Joseph has just been injured. Mike Grant is on the field ready to replace him. We'll come back to Owen Field right after this.
Athletics and academics together nicely. The Big 8 Conference.
Jim Nance, Tim Brandt, John Dockery from Owen Field in Oklahoma, and the word from the sidelines now is Mickey Joseph's left leg has been placed in an inflatable cast. He still remains on the Oklahoma sideline, where he was taken out and ran into the bench area.
They brought the gurney quickly, so it must have been evident to the paramedics as soon as they got there about Mickey Joseph's leg. As they remove him and Mike Grant prepares. You know, Jerry Godowski, who set the records as a senior quarterback last season, never redshirted, even though he never really saw significant playing time until his final year. There are those who feel that if he had been redshirted, the Huskers would be #1 right now, and he'd be sharing time with Mickey Joseph.
Mike Grant started the season as the #1 quarterback, hurt a knee against Baylor, and set out games 2 and 3 against Northern Illinois and Minnesota. Then returned against Oregon State and was the Huskers starter in game 4, but he's been injured on and off. Again, he was the starter at the beginning of the year, but Mickey Joseph replaced him and played well.
Talking with Cale Gundy there. And again, it was interesting to hear him say yesterday, there has never been any ill feeling between these two teams. Just a great, healthy respect for each other. Tremendous rivalry.
Oklahoma players continue to come by and express their best wishes. You see Irvin, Greg Irvin, wide receiver. Let's go down and get another report from John Dockery.
You know, Jim, it was fairly gruesome because when they picked Mickey Joseph up to take him off, as they're doing right now, there was blood on the turf, and they're just washing it off right now. And that would suggest, though certainly not a medical man, that that's a bad break. But there was blood on the turf when they lifted Mickey Joseph up. I'll keep following the story and get back to you.
As they continue to pump and inflate the cast on Joseph's leg, we could see him what appeared to be shouting words of encouragement to his team that was huddled near midfield. Now comes to the line of scrimmage after the 15-yard penalty. And the new quarterback, Mike Grant, first down from the Sooners 39. Flowers tackled by Bowden after a gain of about 4.
Joe Bowden on the tackle.
Boy, you hate to see that to any player. I was here years ago on the sidelines when Troy Aikman broke his leg as a quarterback for Oklahoma
against Miami,
and eventually transferred to UCLA and had a big win yesterday with the Dallas Cowboys.
Second down, 6. Junior quarterback out of Tampa, Florida, Mike Grant calling the signals. Pitching to Flowers. Scott Evans hit him first. And they're about 2 yards shy of a first down at the 31-yard line.
Jim, Leotis Flowers ranks 10th in the NCAA, averaging 115 yards per game. He played a reserve role behind Ken Clark for 2 years. He's been the Big 8 Offensive Player of the Week a couple of times this year. Says he's tired of not getting enough yardage, wants to be more determined as a runner, and that's going to be his goal today.
Probably will top 1,000 yards today, but right now it's 3rd and 3 for the Huskers. Run the option with Flowers, losing yardage back to the 36. Reggie Barnes came up to make the play.
Give Barnes credit for the play, but this play was slow in developing. See, right now, Grant pitches too early. He's got to come down the line. He's got to make those guys commit. Reggie Barnes never was taken in by the quarterback. See him? He stops, looks, it's already pitched, and he can go right to the pitch man and make the play. Grant's got to hold the ball, come down the line, make those guys commit one way or the other, and then pitch it or take it up himself.
4th and 7 from the Oklahoma 36. And they're set up now in punt formation with Mike Stiggy. Bypass a 53-yard field goal attempt. Hooch punt attempt. Right into the end zone. They'll spot it at the 20. Well, tomorrow the Pitt Panthers will go against red-hot Penn State. The Nittany Lions with 8 straight wins, including the victory over #1 ranked Notre Dame last week. That's coming your way beginning at 2 Eastern time here on CBS Sports. Andrea and Mike will start it off with college football today. They're right with us today. They'll be hustling home right after this contest and be in the studio tomorrow to set you up for Pitt and Penn State here on CBS. Second possession of the day for Oklahoma. Rashid remains the fullback, Brewer the tailback. Gundy on the option, and a stick put on him back at the 17 by Travis Hill, a good young player from Carrollton, Texas.
Boy, there's one of those outside linebackers we were telling you about. They've got Kroll on one side and Hill on the other. He's mature beyond his years. You mentioned he grew up in Texas. They've got high school systems there where football is a major part of the life. He's always served the as an outside guy. He's strong, he's quick, just played that pitch man that time and made an outstanding defensive play.
Coaches say he's very mature for his age. Travis Hill, just a sophomore. Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator at Nebraska, loves him as a player. 2nd and 13, Gundy. Able to flick it and complete it at the 36. That's an Oklahoma first down.
There is a flag, though, Jim. I think it's going to be holding against Oklahoma, so they'll probably bring this one back.
Wipe out the completion to Adrian Cooper, tight end. And that will knock Oklahoma back inside of the 10-yard line.
Well, you can almost take your pick up front. Watch this now, especially in the middle. Watch Wallace. Wallace will lock on right away. That's a good block right there until he gets that left hand outside of the radius of the body. You have to stay in within the shoulders, the width of the shoulders.
Looks like Jeff Miller, the left tackle, may have been flagged for it. 2nd down, 22 for the Sooners. Midway first quarter, no score. On the draw, it's Brewer. Going out of bounds at the 17, a gain of about 9 before Cooper bumped him out.
Taken out of bounds by number 17, Reggie Cooper.
Another thing about Brewer is he's got such great vision. Got that low center of gravity. Watch once he gets the ball. He's reading the defense right now. It's almost like a delay, a draw. Steps up in there. Here comes the traffic inside. It closes down, so he just bounces. He's a bounce runner. Gets outside. Right now, he's got the outside leverage and takes it as much as he can up that sideline. Finally knocked out of bounds by Reggie Cooper.
From Lawton, Oklahoma. 3rd and 13 for the Sooners. Play action, and Gundy rifles it to Taylor, incomplete. His defender had fallen down. Tyrone Leggett had fallen down, and Taylor was open for a moment.
Back up on this punt now.
Gundy threw that thing about 55 yards. One sideline to the other.
Brad Waddell will punt for the first time today. Nate Turner and Tyrone Hughes wait from their own 40. With no pressure, Waddell rips this one down to the 38. Here comes Hughes. Hughes shakes free at the 50 and into Oklahoma territory on the good return to the 45. Give him 17 yards on the run back before Chris Meltson made the tackle. Scoreless between Oklahoma and Nebraska in the first quarter.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma, where 75,000 sun-drenched fans are enjoying this game. 0-0 tie at the moment. And I just wanted to update you on Mickey Joseph, Nebraska's quarterback. He did go out of bounds. What happened, he may not have a broken leg. He actually hit the bench at high speeds and has a very, very deep cut. And at this moment in time, I just came out of the locker room, they are x-raying to find out if there is indeed a break as well as that laceration. That's where the blood came from along the sidelines. But in either case, Mickey Joseph will not be back at Jim Nance.
You know, actually, that may sound crazy, but that's good news. The bone's not broken. Sew it up.
From the 45 of Oklahoma, Lance Lewis gains 2. Charles Franks and friends bring him down at the 43. Nebraska's season and their schedule has been often criticized, but the lone loss was to Colorado on November the 3rd. And in that game, they led the Buffaloes 12-0 going into the fourth quarter and allowed 27 points from the Buffaloes in the final period. Of course, Colorado now ranked number 1 and already the Big 8 champs heading to the Orange Bowl. Scott Baldwin in the game. Play action fake to Baldwin and the pass on the turf to Johnny Mitchell. Everyone's looking around. I don't know if one of the officials wants to make the call.
They're going to say it's complete.
Give him 11 yards.
I tell you, that's a heck of a catch, too, by the freshman tight end. He's got 10 catches coming in this game, 7 touchdowns. That's his first one of this game.
Just heard his completion to touchdown ratio, though, with that one.
He'll take it, though. Acrobatic catch. You know, he's a half foot taller than most cornerbacks. He's 6'5".
Talking about Johnny Mitchell, number 86, great freshman tight end for Nebraska. Picks up the first down for him. They run it with Baldwin. Baldwin replacing Leotis Flowers and picking up about 7. Corey Mayfield on the hit. Baldwin actually was the tailback against Kansas, the Cornhuskers' last game, which was 2 weeks ago. And he gained 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. Flowers missed the game with an ankle injury, and Baldwin admirably and ably filled in for him.
You mentioned how close Flowers is to 1,000 yards. Came into this game with 950. Baldwin, of course, 565 yards. And Derek Brown with another 400 yards.
That's why Nebraska leads the nation in rushing. They can clinch the rushing title today. On 2nd and 2, Grant dives for the first inside of the 20. 4:50 to go in the first quarter. Scoreless to this point. That's a lot of backs with good yardage.
Well, you mentioned they need 170 yards today to be the nation's leading rushing team. They had that title 6 times in the 80s. It is a prolific team as far as running the football. Their shortcoming has always been with the passing game.
1st and 10 for Nebraska. Grant across the middle. Has his man, Nate Turner. And a gain of about 5. One thing this team would love to do today is get a touchdown Nate Turner's way. He's never scored a touchdown. He's a junior from Chicago, Illinois. He's had opportunities, but never found the end zone.
You see the protection up front. He gets all kinds, and Grant just has to throw it underneath the coverage. We said that one of the weaknesses of this team was their passing, and we're talking strictly numbers. When they do throw, it's very effective because of the option game. And that's why most of the receivers have very high per-catch average, yardage-wise.
Baldwin, Lewis, and Tyrone Hughes lined up in the backfield. On 2nd and 5, Baldwin short of the first by about 3 yards, in fact.
Watch him stack it up now on the left side, and you'll see that the play, trying to draw it and it won't go, but anyway, you'll see how the play now will get stacked up immediately. Come over that way with what they call the L set. They knock it inside. They get rid of the blockers real quickly, and coach just makes the play. Just took his blocker, got rid of him, and made the tackle.
3rd down and 3. The pitch to Baldwin. Oh, is he hit hard? Well short of the first. Stacy Dillard and Joe Bowden combine on the hit. Field goal time for Nebraska.
Boy, one thing this defense will do, it'll run to the football. It's not as quick as Nebraska's, but look at coach right there, number 41, scraping down the line. He gets cut, but then the inside pursuit comes from Joe Bowden, 45. He gets a lot of help. All you have to do is slow him down, take him out of the rhythm, and then you get everybody else pursuing and taking him down. They run to the football extremely well, and you have to against this offense.
Left-footed booter, Greg Barrios, will attempt a 30-yarder. This will give him the school kick-scoring record if he makes it. Barrios from 30 has the angle on it. It's good. He just surpassed Rich Sanger from back in the early 70s as the all-time leading kick scorer in Cornhusker history. Set the lineup for you this weekend on the NFL coverage, beginning with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern time. Now, it's regional coverage, but a large part of the country will get this blockbuster, the Giants against Philadelphia, and the Eagles are coming on now with 4 straight wins. They'll challenge the undefeated Giants, a rematch of the opening day game, which the Giants won.
I was impressed the way Philadelphia came back against Atlanta this past week. Cunningham, of course, is starting to throw the ball a little bit more, not trying to do it all himself, but he is extremely effective. I think Philadelphia's going to give the Giants all they can handle. I'm looking for the upset there. I think the Eagles beat them.
You folks on the West, many of you will be getting a game later in the day, the Rams against San Francisco. 49 49ers trying to set the all-time NFL record for consecutive wins, going after number 19. Rams and Eagles out to spoil that showdown on December 3rd at Candlestick between the Giants and 49ers. Brian Bennett kicks away. Brewer has it. Brewer races to the 25 and bounced down by Matt Penland. 3-0 Nebraska with 2 minutes and change to go here in the first.
Ball spotted at the 24-yard line. Oklahoma's ball, first and 10.
Jim, I think Oklahoma's got to get more aggressive offensively. They got to get Cale Gundy into the ball game. He's got to throw a little bit more, short yardage type things, high dink and dunk, just get him mentally into the ball game, get him throwing a little bit. He's 1 for 2, 18 yards. He's got to throw a little bit more than that. He also has to challenge the corners a little bit on the option.
Comes out with a new look. No tight end. On first down, McKinley is the fullback. That was a run by Ernest Williams, a freshman from Aurora, Colorado. And no gain for Williams.
Travis Hill again. Boy, is he a player. He's always around the football. He's always grabbing. He's stripping the football. He plays that perimeter. He contains about as well as anybody. But he keeps his outside free and keeps that inside-out leverage. He's only a sophomore. Really takes the heat off Mike Kroll on the other side.
2nd and 10. McKinley and Williams in the backfield. Quick pass across the middle, batted away. Kroll almost got it on the deflection. Mike Petco put a paw on it to spoil the Sooner plans.
That should never happen. He's only 6'2", Petco is. Timed this one perfectly, though. Never was faked. Went immediately all the time looking at Cale Gundy, watching his eyes, and as soon as it was thrown, he went up to knock it down. He doesn't get that ball, and Cooper's wide open.
He's an intense player, Petco. Junior from Anaheim, California. 3rd down and 10 for Oklahoma.
That intensity hurt him last year. He would overrun plays. Coaches had to sit him down, pull the reins a little bit.
Showing blitz. Here they come. Gundy almost loses his footing. Now will break free and has the first down easily.
Should be a flag there, hitting him out of bounds, and here it comes.
A whole sea of yellow coming in there as Gundy picks up the first on an 18-yard run. It looked like Mike Kroll on the late hit.
That was almost more flagrant than the Mickey Joseph hit out of bounds. Mickey was pushed. This time they actually went after Cale Gundy. Watch this now. First he makes a great decision to pull it down and run. And once he gets into the secondary, he goes out of bounds. He's dead meat right there. You've got to stop that play, but instead they drive him into the bench area.
Almost identical on the other sidelines. They drove Joseph into the bench to the Oklahoma defense, and now the Nebraska team returns the favor.
It's unusual to see a guy like Mike Kroll taking that shot out of bounds, too. He's a senior. Outstanding player, only starter from last year back in that front 5. Rated as the #1 draft pick in the NFL.
Tim, that penalty brings the football to the 43 of Nebraska. Oklahoma on that side of the field for the 2nd time here in the first quarter. Came up empty early with a missed field goal. Inside, McKinley, maybe a yard. Pat Engelbert on the tackle, and back downstairs to John.
You know, Jim, you were just talking about the hit on Mickey Joseph. I came out of the training room. They just x-rayed him. The good news is that there's no break. The bad news is that there's a deep laceration into the muscle, so he's definitely not going to play. But he told me a nice story, though, that Reggie Barnes, number 40, when he was going out of bounds, actually tried to grab him and hold him up, but they both slipped along the sidelines, and Joseph was the first one into the bench, thus the cut. Back to you guys.
2nd and 8. Confirms exactly what he had told us. Williams fumbling the football and recovered by the Nebraska defense. .44 seconds to go in the first, and I believe Kenny Walker comes up with the football.
This defense is so strong, so quick, but it's not big. What they do is they go to the football as well as anybody. Kroll again just strips the ball, and Walker jumps on it. Kenny Walker. But the play was made by Mike Kroll. The outside linebacker came up. His responsibility was to back immediately and just stripped him.
Kenny Walker with the fumble recovery for Nebraska. Omar Soto in there at fullback. Scott Baldwin, the tailback, on first down. It's Baldwin losing yardage, a loss of 4. Scott Evans and Mike Coates combining. Tim, to finish up on that Reggie Barnes play, is a nice story by John Dockery, and that confirms what you had said earlier about how wet the field was down in the bench area before the game.
Almost looked like they had wet it down purposely, trying to cool the field down. It's a very warm day here. It's expected to be in the 70s. Unusual for Norman. It also looked like maybe some coolers had flipped over in front of the bench, but the area was very wet, very slippery. You could tell it wasn't a hard hit. It wasn't malicious. We tried to say that early on. I thought he was pushed. I didn't realize he was trying to hold him up.
Second down, 13 to go. And the end of the first quarter. Only a field goal in the first by Greg Barrios.
Mike Grant was trying to call a timeout there. I don't think he realized that the clock had expired, and the officials now are saying, wait a minute, is that the end of the quarter, or did he call timeout? They're going to give him a break and end the quarter.
So that's the end of the first quarter with the score: Nebraska 3, Oklahoma nothing. And we'll return to Owen Field after this message and a word from your local station. The University of Oklahoma, founded 100 years ago in 1890. That was 17 years before statehood was granted. Here on this treeless plain of Oklahoma, there are 2,100 acres on campus, 300 buildings, and some 21,000 students. As we bring you back into Owen Field. Playing field named for Benny Owens, who coached the Sooners from 1905 to 1926. Jim Nance, Tim Brandt, and John Dockery extending warm Thanksgiving holiday greetings to you. We start the second quarter. Nebraska with the football. 2nd and 13 from its own 42. Mike Grant going long right away in the second. Way over the head of Johnny Mitchell, the tight end. Was a little contact down there.
Sure, and the crowd wanted a flag. They thought there was too much contact, but number one, it wasn't a catchable ball, and you'll never have a flag if the ball is not catchable. It was way overthrown. Good no call. Tell you about Grant, he's come in with a lot of poise, looks pretty talented. First half statistics, or first quarter statistics rather, not very impressive either side. 53 total yards for Nebraska, 68 for Oklahoma. Nebraska has the advantage in time of possession with 9.5 minutes.
3rd down, 13. Across the middle, almost intercepted.
Oh, what a great lick by Jason Belcher.
He took out Tyrone Hughes.
He's an all-conference safety, moved the cornerback last spring. Dad played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Watch this now. He's just sitting back here waiting for him in a strong safety position, and boom, knows the guy's off his feet, never sees him coming. That's a great opportunity to take a lick, and that's a legal lick. You know what that does? It gets your attention. Next time he comes out to make a catch in his area, he's going to have his head on a swivel. He'll be looking for him.
Now to punt. Stiggy almost has it blocked. Otis Taylor, fair catch called and made at the 13. It is 3-0 Nebraska. The only points, Greg Barrios, 30-yard field goal in the first quarter. Quarterback Mickey Joseph of the Cornhuskers went out early with an injury, a leg injury. Sooners almost got to Mike Stiggy.
Stiggy knew it too. He could feel it coming. That's why he short-stepped it there and got it up. Great pressure both sides of the punt return team.
That was Greg Irvin flying past Mike Stiggy.
You know, Jim, I'm a little bit surprised Gundy's not throwing more. He's only 1 for 3, 18 yards.
From deep in his own territory on first down. Running the option and hitting Taylor. The wingback hit him right off the shoulder pad. Lucky to recover that one.
You know what he did? He took that reverse pivot, and as soon as he squared up, he could see that he was under pressure and had to get rid of it. Here's the reverse pivot. Here comes the pressure. Boom. Get it outside. And Taylor wasn't even looking for the ball. Hit him right there on the shoulder pad, bounced up and hit him in the face. Lucky to get that one back.
And even gain 2 on the play. Nebraska doubling the time of possession on the Sooners.
Jim, if you're the pitch man, you cannot take your eyes off the quarterback. You've got to be able to receive it anytime he feels pressure.
Similar to the Colorado I-bone. They bring Taylor out in motion, go straight ahead, do they? Oklahoma and Brewer carrying the football about 4 yards short of the first. It'll be 3rd and 4. Joe Sims gets credit for the tackle.
Interesting you say it is similar to Colorado's I-bone. They call it an L set. They run virtually the same plays you can run out of the wishbone. You've had the I-bone, the flex bone, that kind of offense, but basically you're still going to run the option. Anytime you run the option, the defense has to assign players to the dive man, the quarterback, and the pitch man, and when you do that, you're restricting what they can do defensively.
McKinley and Brewer, the 2 backs. Taylor in motion. 3rd and 4. Short side of the field, they'll run it. Brewer has the first down. Look at him go past the 40. And near midfield before Bird bumps him out. Mike McKinley, the fullback, gave him a clearing block, Timmy. And Brewer picks up 32 yards.
Boy, watch the blocking here, and watch the fullback come and get one. Here they come right away. They'll roll it, and they'll rock it. McKinley's number 31 gets the block on the corner. Bang, right there, knock him out. How about the block by Larry Medice? The right guard pushed everything back inside, and once Brewer got outside, then only the pursuit angle stopped him. Boy, what a block by Mike McKinley, though, the fullback. Those 2 fullbacks alternate, and what that does is it gives these guys freshness in the 4th period.
Here he is running the ball now. And look at him go. Fumble on the tail end of it. Looks like Gundy, of all people, recovered it.
2 fumbles on this series. They got them both back.
I guess the word from the bench was, let's give McKinley the football. It was such a good block the play before. Let's feed him a little bonus.
It's an interesting situation as you watch him run here and watch his extra effort. They say Kenyon Rasheen is the more complete player, the more athletic player, better blocker and runner, but McKinley is the stronger and keeps Rashid fresh. But I'll tell you what, he's not a bad runner or blocker in the last 2 plays.
The recovery by Gundy. 2nd down 3 from the 40 of Nebraska. That's McKinley again. And the big fella picks up the first.
Jim, these 2 fullbacks have run for a combined over 900 yards. It's a great luxury to have, especially in this type of offense. They'll trap with the fullback, they'll block the fullback, and they'll also pressure that middle. Again, I tell you, Colorado had success up the middle in the 4th period when the game was on the line against Nebraska, and Oklahoma's doing that now.
Cale Gundy says beating Nebraska won't make our season, but it would help ease some of the disappointments we've had this year. Trailing 3-0. Sooners on the drive here early in the 2nd quarter. Fake. Gundy has it. And gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Travis Hill stayed out there with him. So did Kenny Walker.
Saw the athleticism of the young sophomore outside linebacker Hill, who was the contained man, did his job, but he overran the play and Gundy came under him. But he was quick enough and strong enough, Travis Hill was, to get back and make the tackle.
They believe Travis Hill, you're looking at him in the Nebraska defensive huddle. He'll turn out to be another Mike Kroll. He plays opposite Kroll on the outside linebacker. 2nd down 10. Gundy. Short drop. Great protection. Going long for Cooper. And touchdown, Oklahoma. A 36-yard strike. Gundy to Adrian Cooper, and the 6'6" tight end showing great agility coming back over the other shoulder to make the diving grab in the back of the end zone. Lasher adds the PAT, and Oklahoma has the lead 7-3.
Number one, look at the protection he gets from Wallace, Medice, and Sawatsky right in front of him. 4.5 seconds Gundy has right here to throw this football. Finally goes to his tight end. Now watch the adjustment he makes. Looks over his right shoulder, comes back for his left shoulder. I wasn't sure he had possession. I don't think he was sure he had possession. He definitely bobbled the football. Look, it's up on his shoulder. He's across the plane. Now, does he have possession? Yes. Brings it in, tucks it away. Touchdown, Oklahoma. That's a great play by Adrian Cooper. Tremendous adjustment, looking back into the sun to make that catch.
Cale Gundy throws the touchdown pass. He has now thrown for 839 yards on the season. As you look at the graphic, top passing rookie seasons. This is not for just freshmen. This is guys in their first year as quarterback, like Mildred, ineligible as a freshman back in those days.
Adrian Cooper making the touchdown, Jim. He's 6'6", has that long stride, and here's Tyrone Bird, who's only 5'11", shorter guy, very quick, but can't keep up with him stride for stride, and certainly can't go up. That's what they call that Hail Mary pass.
Instead of Hail Mary, Cale Mary. That worked at the end of the first half against Oklahoma State. Same combo, Gundy and Cooper. Through the back of the end zone, Nebraska will start from the 20. Trailing now 7-3. And we take you to John Dockery.
You know, Jim, you and Tim were wondering about the wetness on the field and why it was done. Remember Mickey Joseph slipping, going into the bench and hurting himself. Well, he's gone for the day, as I said, a laceration, not a broken leg. But talking to some of the folks around here, maintenance folks, they often put water on artificial turf, especially as it starts to wear down, because it gives the athletes a better traction on the turf. But you know what's happened sometimes? Sometimes the water drifts off the field and collects along the bench, and that's what might have happened on that play. Back to you.
Mike Grant is the quarterback. Number one, handing off to Baldwin, and a 4-yard pickup.
You know, since Mickey Joseph's gone out of the game, Nebraska's rushed for only 20 yards now.
Gain to the 24-yard line brings up second down 6.
I'm surprised that would give you better traction. I thought it was a little bit slick down on the field as you look at the total yards for Nebraska and Oklahoma. Oklahoma with the advantage, mainly because of that last drive. A lot of the players, I was talking to Duell Brewer down there on the field, a lot of them are just wearing tennis shoes, not AstroTurf cleats.
2nd and 6. Tyrone Hughes offset on a wing, now in motion. Grant will run it, keeping it off the option, and Bowden had him by the knees.
Credit Joe Bowden on the tackle.
When the quarterback comes down the line, any kind of penetration that the defensive lineman can get disrupts the option play immediately, because the quarterback, who is the trigger man on the option play, can feel that pressure and gets a little bit discombobulated. Watch this. He feels the penetration right there, now tries to cut back in. Never even looked out for his pitch man. He thought the pressure was coming in such a way that he had to turn it up quickly to make positive yardage.
Tom Osborne and Nebraska with 10 minutes to go in the second, trailing 7-3, facing a 3rd and 3. Grant now dropping back, lofting it for Turner, incomplete. Charles Franks came up, talking about footsteps and hearing them. Tim,
that ball should have been caught. Grant dropped, felt the pressure coming after him, and just put a soft touch on it. Franks definitely disrupted that play by coming hard. Boy, Nate Turner's got to make that catch. No excuse for that. He wasn't even looking into the sun. He was looking back away from it.
Otis Taylor waits for Mike Stiggy. Stiggy, a 3.7 grade point average, pre-veterinarian major. And a fair catch made by Taylor after a 39-yard punt. Well, the Sooners were sizzling on that last possession. They'll come back with the football.
Quote. Celica, one of the most eye-catching cars of the year. Auto Magazine. The performance is stunning. Sports International.
Unquote. The 1991 Toyota Celica. Enough said.
Look, he's...
do millions of the world's vehicles go when they need to fill up? Same place you do. BP.
Don't worry, you were here first.
BP. On the move.
Otherworld life forms. They do exist.
I've been cut to pieces.
They took out 4 men armed with machine guns by hand. Whoever killed him is gonna pay. I won't finish it.
He's in town with a few days to kill. Danny Glover, Gary Busey, Ruben Blades, Maria Conchita Alonso. Predator 2, rated R.
Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Oklahoma with a 7-3 lead over Nebraska. This week they announced the All-Big 8 team. Colorado had 11 players on the All-Big 8 team, and Nebraska 6. Johnny Mitchell, the freshman tight end, punt on the offensive line. Walker, Kroll, Tyrants, and Cooper on D. And for the Sooners, well, Scott Evans was back again for the 3rd time. He was the only member. Scott Evans, defensive tackle. Half the team, though, all Big 8 team, belong to the Buffaloes of Colorado, the conference champions. 1st and 10, Oklahoma from the 35. Straight ahead with Rashid. Gain of about 4.
Credit Travis Hill on the tackle. Your attention, please.
You know, Travis Hill is about as active as I've seen an outside guy all year. He's only a sophomore, but evidently they're trying to run away from Kroll, and they're going in the direction of Travis Hill, and he's been in all kinds of tackles. He's put the pressure on Gundy. He's having a marvelous afternoon thus far.
2nd down and 6. Brewer runs right into Petco. Mike Petco makes the hit.
The 40-yard line.
Set up 3rd and about 4.
Credit Mike Petco on the tackle. Brings up 3rd down and 4.
This Nebraska defense has had some problems this afternoon. Having a tough time keeping things in perspective here with Oklahoma's offense. They lead the Big 8 defensively in pass defense, total defense, scoring defense, but Oklahoma's been moving on them.
3rd and 3 for the Sooners. Brewer again. And he's going to be short of the 1st by about 1 yard. Pat Tyrants and Mike Petco make the hit.
Brings up 4th down.
4th down, they'll bring out Riddell to punt. 7-3 lead for Oklahoma midway in the 2nd quarter.
Brett Riddell will punt for the Sooners. Tyrone Hughes is deep for the Huskies.
Riddell averaging 41 yards a punt. He's had 1 block this year. A good punt. Fair catch called by Hughes and made at the 17. 40-yard punt for Riddell. And the 9-1 Cornhuskers, ranked 10th in the country, will come back on offense, trailing 7-3. Well, we've got our gang from the College Football Today out here celebrating the Thanksgiving weekend with us. You know, Andrea Joyce used to work down in the Southwest, just south of here, in fact, in Dallas. And Andrea's down on the sidelines. What's coming up at halftime, Andrea?
All right, Jim, coming up at halftime, will the real number 1 please stand up? Mike and I will take a look at the national championship puzzle. We will tell you about a star quarterback and his remarkable story of survival, and the tale of a lineman with a double life. All that and more coming up at halftime. Now let's see if the Nebraska Cornhuskers can get their running game going. Let's go back upstairs to Jim Nance.
All right, Andrea, we'll look forward to that coming up at halftime. Little Boomer Sooner for you. It's Oklahoma in front, 7-3. Leotis Flowers is back in the backfield.
He's got 4 carries, only 6 yards thus far.
Omar Soto junior from Miami, running into Stacy Dillard.
Credit Stacy Dillard on a tackle.
Just waiting for something to happen here, something to explode. Both teams not really getting a whole lot done point-wise. 7-3 Sooners with 7:19 remaining first half. Right now, Grant is 2 for 5, 16 yards. He's missed his last 3 passing-wise, and the rushing game hasn't been electric thus far.
2nd and 5. Flowers, no gain. Corey Mayfield.
Big old number 46, Mayfield. You could hear that hit up here. Trying to make his eyelids like window shades.
One of the healthy players on this Oklahoma defense that is very thin. They do not have much depth. Chris Wilson, we mentioned, is out with a foot sprain. Has not been a dominating defense all season long.
No, it hasn't. Proctor Land with a broken thumb. And Mayfield's a former defensive end. They moved him over.
3rd and 5. Grant. Whoa, what a hit on Turner.
Oh, Reggie Barnes.
They may call that a completion and a fumble.
I don't know how they could call it a completion. It happened so quickly, it looked like it was there and gone. But what a knock by Barnes.
It is. It's Oklahoma football. Oklahoma football at the 13. This will count as a reception and then a jarring fumble.
He took 2 steps with the football, so it's a good call, but oh, what a hit by Reggie Barnes.
Frank Blevins scooped up the football, and Oklahoma is set up at the 13.
This will put your eyeballs in your forehead. Watch this. Bang! Receiver never even had a chance to look around. Turner, we told you his head would be on a swivel when he comes around that middle. He may go back and beg off next time.
May permanently be on a swivel after that one. Joel Brewer. All the way to the 3, near a first down.
They score here, Jim. Give a lot of credit to Reggie Barnes because I think that hit fired up the Oklahoma offense. Everybody's pumped. The crowd's back in the game now. Keep in mind, when that receiver gets the ball, he's got to have control to make a football move according to the rules. He's got to be able to advance it, both feet. They said that he had it long enough, 1, 2 steps, and then the hit came and knocked it loose.
Cale Gundy has run it in 4 times this year for touchdowns. 2nd and less than a yard. Rashid will have the first. It'll be 1st and goal for Oklahoma.
You know, the first quarter, it was like a library in here. The silence was almost deafening. It was a quiet crowd. Now, all of a sudden, they're starting to get back into it. Well, we talked to the coaches the last couple of days, and they said one thing about this series, it's always smash-mouth football. That's a great indicator right there. Wow, that was fun to watch.
Well, from our viewpoint, it sure looks like a first. They may measure for it. Bring them out. 5:30 to go in the second. 7-3 Sooners, and they're about to go in again. Yes, clearly a first down for Oklahoma. Beautiful day, although they turn on the temporary lights around the stadium.
Pretty good.
Will they add to that total?
Pretty good graphic right there. Rushing yards now. Oklahoma's got 119 yards running the football. Nebraska just 49. Keep in mind, Nebraska's still talking about a possible national championship. They say if they go 9-1 and beat Georgia Tech in the bowl, if they're unbeaten, they've got a shot at Notre Dame and Miami both winning their bowls.
1st and goal, Rashid short of the goal.
So I guess the point we're trying to make here is Oklahoma the underdog in this ball game, and yet they're forcing the action.
I got to think at this time of the year, being 10th in the country, it's very close to impossible for Nebraska to win that national championship.
Jim, but it's been a wacky year. I can remember a couple of weeks ago, we're doing the Colorado-Oklahoma game, and we wrote Colorado out of the script. We said, hey, there's no shot now. They've got to be erased from the national title contention. Now here they are, number 1.
2nd and goal. Gundy keeps, and Gundy does not score.
At least not yet. There it is.
Yes, he does. at the bottom of the pile and getting it across.
Once the linesman loses sight of the ball carrier, he's got to come in and see where the push ended. Now, if this was an NFL game, I'd say they want to review it. But there is no instant replay in college.
It's a timeout called by Nebraska. Nebraska calls a timeout. Mike Petco heads to the sidelines along with Tyrone Bird. Not enough players, you think?
I just counted them. It looked like they had enough. I was counting to see if they had too many, but everything's all right. You know, the point I was trying to make, though, the delay on that touchdown was not so much that they were waiting. It was that they didn't see it. All right, right here, the linesmen on both sides of that goal line lose sight of him. He's completely surrounded by his own players and defensive players, so they've got to now close in on the pileup and see where Gundy's penetration ended up. And right there, he's across the line. It's a touchdown. Look at old number 88 right there in the white. Mike Kroll, he's right on top of him. Here's the view the linesman has. There's the push. Now come in and see where he ends up. Cale Gundy just kept going, following big old Randy Wallace and Medice and Sawatsky in there for the touchdown. Hey, watch this. Watch Gundy now, the quarterback. All right, now he's underneath. Now just watch him worm. First of all, his knees aren't touching. See? I'll tell you what, now they are, but he's already across. That's a great job of keeping your knees off the ground until you're across the goal line. Look at Kroll in there pawing, trying to get the ball away.
Lasher
already in.
Lasher's extra point. Good for the 91st straight time. 91 straight extra points successfully made by Lasher. 14-3 Oklahoma. Time to present this week's Toyota Leadership Award winners. And the winners are Pat Tyrens from Nebraska, a 3.45 pre-med major, and very active in his community. Say No to Drugs campaign, frequent speaker to community groups. And from Oklahoma, Jeff Miller, senior offensive tackle from Bakersfield, California, active also in that Say No to Drugs campaign. First team all-academic Big 8. So congratulations to both gentlemen as Toyota donates a check in the amount of $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund.
Jim, there are a lot of schools in the country that would challenge this statement, but as far as the games and teams we've seen, Nebraska ranks right up there as the library award team. They spend a lot of time in the library. Their average grade point average is right up near 3 point out of a 4.0 system.
I think they had 7 players make academic all Big 8, Nebraska.
They did, and a lot of other guys that are awfully close. Saw that graphic. Oklahoma, 107 yards against 15 for Nebraska. Here's the all-academic guys you were mentioning. That's impressive.
Yes, all 7 of the Nebraska players with a grade point average well over 3.0.
We're not talking about basket weaving either. There's some pre-med guys in there, engineering guys.
14-3 lead, and Riddell drives it all the way toward the back of the end zone, and Nebraska will again begin from the 20.
Tyrone Hughes down the ball in the end zone, and we'll come back to the 20. Huskers have it there first and 10.
Well, it's the day after Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoyed all the turkey and trimmings yesterday, and we sure did down here in Norman, Oklahoma. We're at Owen Field. Jim Nance along with Tim Brand and John Dockery. 14-3. The Sooners trying to spoil it for 10th ranked Nebraska.
You're not big on your yams, though. You didn't like your yams.
No, well, you sure took care of them. Scraped them right off my plate. Grant rifles one complete to Bostic for a first down. That one had some zip on it. 14-yard gain, Grant to Bostic.
Number 28, Darnell Walker on the tackle.
You just joined us. The starting quarterback for Nebraska went out on the second series with a lacerated leg after being bumped into the Oklahoma bench. Mike Grant has been the quarterback the rest of the way. He is, by the way, backed up by Tom Hawes, who has thrown only 3 passes all season.
Jim, Mickey Joseph left as the leading rusher, too. He had 1 carry for 13 yards. Nebraska has only gone 49 yards on the ground.
That pass play to Bostic picks up the Huskers' first down of the second quarter.
The clock to 4:23.
Well, the clock says 4:17. They're going to reset it to 4:23, so they're going to add some seconds there.
Doesn't seem like a necessary stoppage in play, does it, at this point?
No, it really doesn't. Are you surprised at the way this game has gone thus far?
Really am, but I think Oklahoma's defense, with several powerful hits across the middle. Belzer had one. The documented Reggie Barnes hit has really set the tone for Oklahoma today.
Oklahoma is playing with a sense of urgency. I think Coach Gibbs knows that he's got to win a game against somebody big with a winning record anyway. Nebraska, Colorado, they've got to get one of those wins under his belt to take some of the heat off himself here.
Well, Coach Gibbs, 37 years old. When he took the job, he's now 38. He's 0-5 against the arch rivals, Colorado, Texas, and Nebraska.
14-7 overall.
The pitch. Flowers dropped for a loss. Defense shut that one down. James Good and Darnell Walker.
See this guy right here? He's got to come up, make contact here, and then come up on the outside. And these guys all have to come down and help on the pursuit. They've got to force things, pinch things to the outside. Now watch them. Look at that. Outside leverage, play your inside out, come up, get help from the DB, and make the play.
Flowers, 6 carries, 6 yards. There's James Good, who stopped the option on that play. Call it 2nd and 10. Grant standing in the pocket, throwing, and almost intercepted by Ray. Terry Ray. Intended for Dan Pleasant.
Terry Ray's an all-conference type player. Started as a true freshman, very aggressive at free safety, supports the run well. He also, as you see, can play the run. But first thing he's got to do back there is make sure that the pass play is going to be a pass play before he comes and commits. That time he just sat back there, played soft, and went and played the ball and almost had the pick.
He is the younger brother of Darrell Ray, a Sooner star in the late 70s, who went on to play for the Jets.
Born in Belgium, speaks French fluently.
3rd and 10. Grant with pressure is picked off by Bowden. Corey Mayfield came in on Mike Grant, and Joe Bowden has his first interception of the season.
Grant should have just thrown that one away. Sure, that sounds like the obvious now after you see the pickoff, but if you watch him, you'll say there's no way he should have thrown this pass. He's not set. He's not ready to throw. Look at him. He's in a back pedal now, throws as he's moving away, and look at the interception by Bowden. One hand, the big left-handed Paul, just grabs and pulls it in. He was down immediately. They say he's got more natural ability than any other of the linebackers there. Coaches say he's the next great linebacker at Oklahoma, just a junior. He is a key in that defensive unit.
Well, the Sooners take over at the 46 of Nebraska, leading 14-3, and a timeout called by Gundy. Oklahoma's defense has controlled this game, and we said they have not been a dominating defense all season, but you have to give them credit in that title here in the first half.
They're running to the football so well. They've taken away the pitch. They've taken away the outside. They're pinching the middle, and the secondary's playing very well.
You know, the two teams are so similar that I think Charlie Sadler, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma, said it best. He said, it's true football. When we play Nebraska, there are no trick defenses. There's nothing tricky here. They know what everyone's going to throw against them. That's on both sides of the football.
It's just, as they said, smash mouth, people on people. They execute, we execute, strap it on football. But one thing that really I thought was interesting is when we sat in Coach Gibbs' office 2 days ago, and he says, last year our secondary hurt us. This year they're going to be ready to play. And he winked at us, smiled. He just had a lot of confidence. He evidently knew they were ready to play.
Let's go back down to the Dockster. John?
You know, Jim Nance, we were talking earlier in the game about the deaf defensive tackle Kenny Walker for Nebraska. Well, behind me, you might be able to see his interpreter. That's Mimi Mann, who will go into the locker room in a few minutes with Kenny and stand next to him as Charlie McBride and Tom Osborne give instructions. She will then translate it for Kenny as they go into the locker room. Okay, back to you guys.
Mimi Mann, she's a great lady and has been very close with Kenny Walker here. Loss on the play. Kroll wrapping up Brewer. Had the chance to talk to Mimi Mann and find out a little more about that special relationship, helping out Kenny Walker here as his interpreter during his career at Nebraska.
See big number 88, Mike Kroll, come across. He'll make this play on the outside again. But speaking about Kenny Walker, he's just an inspiration to all of us now. He was a linebacker, stand-up linebacker, but he couldn't hear all the calls, obviously. Couldn't make the calls, so they put him as a down player where he just looks into the nose guard. You just saw him there and get hand signals.
2nd and 13. Gundy takes a hit after releasing this one. Ball is up for grabs. It may have been caught by Cooper. A jump ball and a catch by Oklahoma inside the 10. Jump the two Tyrones, Tyrone Bird and Tyrone Leggett.
This is the second outstanding catch he's made today. This is not a particularly good throw. It's underthrown. The defensive guys come in. They think they have it, and they do. What happens is Cooper just takes it away from him. Watch this now. Here they go up. You see Bird and Leggett. Leggett's got it right there. It's in his hands, number 3, and big old Cooper just takes it away from him. Boy, Gundy took a pretty good lick from Engelbert after he released it, but it's another marvelous catch by Cooper.
An alley-oop, and Oklahoma is set up inside of the 10.
And another Cale Mary from Cale Gundy.
McKinley driving and scoring for Oklahoma. That is the 4th touchdown of the year for Mike McKinley, and it's now 20-3 Oklahoma with the point after to come.
To use an overused word, intensity, they're just playing with a lot more of it right now than Nebraska.
Lasher converts on the point after. 2:22 left in the second. Watch Mike McKinley just drive the legs and bulldoze his way toward the end zone.
He's the strongest fullback they've got. He's got 4 carries now, 23 yards for the afternoon. You see he's just following Wallace and Matisse up there. Then he does the rest on his own. Look at this. He's just not going to be denied. Breaks out of the pack, boom, breaks a tackle, and dives into the end zone. Outstanding run by McKinley.
Gotta love the schooner cam.
These are the guys we want you to watch right here. Sawatsky, Miller. Here's Wallace. He's going to follow those guys right up behind them. Watch this now. Motion, fullback, bang. Here's 62, Larry Matisse. Just stay on his back. Ride him out of there. Big old number 70s, Brandon Houston. And then just dive into the end zone. Some outstanding play by those big guys up front. Asked the big lineman, said, does it bother you that they call you the big uglies? He says, no. He says, down there it does get ugly sometimes. You see the blood, the spit, the sweat, but it's fun. They enjoy it. Sawatsky's a former walk-on. Now he could be the best guard in the Big 8.
Remember when you asked that question to Tom Myslinski from Tennessee? He says, some of the guys really do hurt our image. Some of them really are ugly. Riddell handles the kicking chores, the kickoff chores. Hughes will not run it out. On Sunday, the NFL Today joined Greg, Terry, Leslie, and Pat. 12:30 Eastern Time. We'll have a special look at the relationship between Coach Bill Parcells and his unbeaten Giants. They bonded together in the locker room and banded together on the field. They're unbeaten. And that'll be the last word before kickoff, which for many people will be the Eagles and the Giants. Plus other regional action. You'll have to check your local listings. Folks on the West will get the Rams and the 49ers. First down, into round, Johnny Mitchell, freshman tight end, running with it. And a gain of 16 as they take out a couple of people on the sidelines.
Again, you see that slippery turf over there, too. Looked like Johnny Mitchell was trying to step up after they rode him out of bounds, and his feet just went out from under him. He's an interesting young guy, isn't he? Half foot taller than most defensive backs. We had an interesting conversation with him last night. 10 catches, 7 touchdowns coming into the ball game. One more and he'll have the record, Johnny Rodgers' record. He'll tie it.
First and 10. Throwing on the run. Complete to Pleasant. That's his second catch of the season. And working on Jason Belzer. Huskers trying to get some sort of drive underway here before the intermission. Trailing 21-3.
Jim, they've got to. You talk about a sense of urgency. Nebraska's got only 82 yards total offense in this football game. We're almost at halftime. Oklahoma, on the other hand, well over 200.
Derek Brown is the eye back. And the freshman gets the run near midfield. That's a first down for Nebraska.
Credit Scott Evans and Mike Coates on the tackle. First and 10 for the Huskers.
Huskers have 2 timeouts to work with here as we come under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Grant over the head of Nate Turner.
Hey, Jim, watch the battle that's going on up front between Corey Mayfield, the nose guard, and David Dell, the center for Nebraska. I mean, these two guys are going nose to nose and just knocking each other all over the football field.
You were talking about those high GPAs. Adele, the center, Adele, the center from Nebraska, has a 3.93 in mechanical engineering. He snaps it now to Grant. Here comes the double reverse. Brewer has it. And what looked like a potentially big gainer. That's only about 5. Derek Brown.
Closed down by Mike Coates, who's been playing with a bad ankle, but that time he had to come all the way from the inside, run to the sidelines to make the tackle. You're right, it could have been a big gainer. The only reason he got there that quickly was because he had the pursuit angle.
So Derek Brown gains about 5. It's 3rd and 5. 1:15 on the clock.
Not sure who this is on, but Corey Mayfield was the first to jump. He may have been drawn over. It is going to be against Nebraska. So Mayfield must have seen the motion. He's been banging around, as you said, with a deal. And got a little bit antsy there. As soon as somebody flinched, he came across. First one to move was Terry Emmett.
3rd down 10 with 1:13 to go before the half. Hits Johnny Mitchell and he drops the football. Placed it right in his hands.
Boy, as much as we've talked about him and what a great receiver he is and will be, he should have had that. No excuse for that. He comes out in the flats. He wasn't even covered. That could have been a big gainer for Nebraska. Not only would have had the first, but they would have been down in the red zone of Oklahoma territory.
Stiggy, a former walk-on, will punt once again. Under no pressure. Big high punt. Gets the coverage team down there in time. Takes a favorable Nebraska bounce and is down at the 5. George Akoba downs it at the 5. And as far as scoring in this game, Nebraska got on the board first. Barrios, a 30-yard field goal in the opening quarter. But here in the second, a 3-touchdown explosion by the Sooners. A great grab by Cooper, 36 yards for the touchdown. That was followed then by Gundy on a 1-yard keep. 14-3 Oklahoma. Another pass to Cooper set up a McKinley run from 9 yards out, and it's 21-3 with 53 seconds left in the second quarter.
But Oklahoma may have just made a critical error. They let that punt hit the ground, and now it was downed inside the 5-yard line. Nebraska has 2 timeouts. Oklahoma has 2 with 53 seconds left. So if they can jam them down here, somehow get that football back, you never want to let that ball hit the ground.
Ernest Williams and Kenyon Rashid in the backfield. Gundy keeps it and is smacked after about a 2-yard gain. Matt Penland on the hit. Coming up at halftime, Andrea Joyce and Mike Francesa on site in Soonerland.
Spotted at the 7-yard line.
You know, I don't understand why Nebraska doesn't take a timeout here. You got them pinned. You can't lose anything. You don't want to take the timeouts into the locker room with you. Just call timeout, stop the clock, gamble on the next play, try to strip it and see what happens.
I agree with you. Could have stopped the football or stopped the clock twice and made him punt the football out of the end zone.
Absolutely. You never can tell what will happen. They're just going to let them run the clock out and go into the locker room trailing 21-3.
Gundy will just down it.
Don't understand it.
Well, the Huskers thoroughly beaten up in the second quarter. That's the end of the first half. A second quarter that was all Sooners. They lead it 21-3 over Nebraska. We'll be right back.
CBS Sports coverage of today's CFA game is sponsored by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with a heartbeat of America. Visa, accepted at nearly 7 million places worldwide. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Keystone and Keystone Light, bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
Welcome you back to Owen Field. Media representatives from all across the Southwest. No, this does not have the interest of the game of the century back in 1971 when Nebraska won it 35-31 in a matchup of 1 against 2, or even for that matter the 87 game when it was once again 1 against 2. But it's a classic rivalry, and Nebraska has to come back strong in the second half, trailing 21-3. Here comes Oklahoma and Otis Taylor. Taylor shaken free. Finally taken down by Tyrone Leggett at the 24. Now, what does Tom Osborne have up his sleeve in the second half? John Dockery spoke to him.
Well, I don't think particularly flat. We just had some things that went against us. You know, a couple big plays that they made, a couple turnovers. And we need to make a big play and get something turned around or get some momentum.
Anything special for the second half?
Well, we're going to try to, we'll throw the ball some, obviously. We've got to get our running game going, too.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you.
Both have been non-existent to this point. From the 25, the pitch by Gundy to Dewell Brewer. Fumbled, but they'll rule him down at the 31. Reggie Cooper on the hit.
Tell you something else, Jim. He mentioned the turnovers. Oklahoma 14 points off those turnovers, and more importantly, they lost Mickey Joseph in the second series after a 13-yard run. And Nebraska, which averages 362 yards, has only 76 here in this ball game as you look at the statistics. Grant, 5 for 12, has actually thrown the ball more than Gundy. Gundy's 3 for 5. So it's been an interesting concept thus far in this ball game. I think both teams are showing a lot of speed. Thus far, the cutback runs have not been effective. They got to start cutting back and finding creases.
2nd and 4. Randy Wallace will snap it to Gundy. Gundy keeps. Picks up the first. Fumbles the ball. And there's the break Nebraska needed. Tyrone Leggett on the recovery.
Just that quickly. Gundy on the option reads it correctly, steps underneath the perimeter. Once he gets underneath the contain from Kroll, see there? Now he'll take it up, but he still hadn't tucked it away. He's got the ball on the inside instead of his outside arm. Now here comes the pressure. There's the swat that just knocked it loose. It was Kroll who came and recovered and knocked the ball loose with the big right bear paw. First turnover second half, Nebraska in Oklahoma territory.
From the 35, Mike Grant is the quarterback. Hands it to the fullback, Lance Lewis.
Number 26, Lance
And a gain of about 3. Mayfield and Evans on the tackle. You're looking at Lance Lewis, a sophomore from Scott City, Kansas. I think he was a big man on campus back in high school. At the Kansas High School Track and Field Championships, he won the 100-meter dash, the 200 meters, and the shot put. That's an unusual combination.
Should have seen him at the homecoming dance. I say he's quick.
Picked up 3 on that play, 2nd and 7. He'll lead the way now for Leotis Flowers, who skirts across the 30 down to the 29.
Jim, we're talking about the team speed on both sides of the football, and there's no question about it. You're seeing 2 of the quickest teams in the country here this afternoon. This field also has a very high crown, the highest crown that I've seen on a football field in this nation. So what you want to do then is when you're running to the sidelines, you know the pursuit with their speed can track you down. Try to cut back, because then they're running downhill. If you've got a good running back like O.J. Simpson used to do, cut back up that top of that crown and try to cut back into the crease.
3rd and 4. Grant with great time looks for the open man and finds him inside of the 5. It's John Bostic. 1st and goal for the Cornhuskers.
Grant now 6 for 13. They're passing more than I had anticipated in this game, and Grant just buys time here and does a pretty good job. They try to get him on the knock up front. They don't make good contact, and he just drifts down the sidelines. Now you see the safety doesn't come over and help. Terry Ray gets caught back in Never Never Land and finally comes up late and makes the tackle, but he came in free. It was his own defense, found the seam, found the opening, just sat down there and made the catch.
Bostic from Bellevue, Washington. He had a summer job once with the Nintendo company, was a test pilot for Nintendo. Every kid's dream.
Sure, he's one of the Super Mario brothers.
And they're down to the 2 with Lance Lewis, trailing 21-3.
This will be a big play for Nebraska to get into the end zone here. Not only is they trail 21-3, but it's not a great come-from-behind team. They very rarely have to come from behind. They don't have that outstanding passing game. That's why that big play to Bostic was so important. He averages 20 yards a catch and got it there.
Turner joins Lewis and Flowers in the backfield on 2nd and goal. Leotis Flowers easily scores, and back comes Nebraska. Flowers' 9th rushing touchdown of the season. We're less than 3 minutes into the 3rd quarter. Barrios drills the extra point, and the Cornhuskers take advantage of the fumble and score the touchdown.
Talk about how valuable the fullbacks are in this offensive scheme for Nebraska. Flowers has 8 carries, just 12 yards, but look at the blocks he gets here. Big block by Lance Lewis, 26, just kind of pushed him out of the way, and he took it underneath for the touchdown.
Not long ago,
Oklahoma has allowed its first touchdown of the game to Nebraska. Joe Bowden spoke for his defense. They were confident coming in.
I mean, I'm sitting around thinking, they can't beat us. You know, that's just my opinion. I'm thinking, well, if we play up to our abilities, then there won't be an option game. And as far as the up the middle, you know, if we play up to our ability, there won't be a breakdown up the middle. So personally, I'm trying to find out where the big play is going to come myself. I mean, it's just going to be a smash mouth football game, you know, and who's going to defeat a block and make a tackle. That's what Coach Gibbs always say. Defense is made up, you know, who's going to defeat a block and make a tackle. So if we play up to our abilities, I guess it'll be a zero game, as far as I'm concerned.
Young Joe came at him this time. You see him close down here. Here's one block, and then here comes the fullback and knock out Joe Bowden. Boom, hit him right there, take him out, and just let him go underneath. Lance Lewis with the big block, and Flowers scores the touchdown for Oklahoma, or Nebraska rather.
And let's remember, it was only a 35-yard drive as Oklahoma's defense was backed up after the turnover. But it's 21-10. Otis Taylor will run it back now for Oklahoma. Oh, there's a stick. Penland on the hit for Nebraska. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern time. More college football action coming your way. Pitt, Coach Paul Hackett, can he get his team fired up for Penn State? Well, it's a great rivalry. They should be ready. Penn State's won 8 games in a row. And we'll be at home against the Panthers. We'll have it for you.
Boy, if you can't get fired up for that one, Coach Hackett has really struggled this year with his ball club. That'd be a big win for him. They've got to get ready for the Nittany Lions.
Good fake by Gundy. Finds his open man. It's Cooper. Runs over one defender. What a big day Adrian Cooper's having for Oklahoma. Ran over Tyrone Bird.
Yeah, you almost felt sorry for Bird. Big Cooper, 6'6", 260 pounds. I'm only giving you the height and weight as a matter of reference because Bird, who he ran over, is 5'11", 165 pounds. Here comes the collision. No contest. Big fast guy will run over a little fast guy every day of the week.
Cooper's a former defensive tackle for Oklahoma. Played there his first 2 seasons before coming over to tight end last year. Sets him up on first down. To Well Brewer, bouncing around for a gain of about 3. LaAndre Anderson on the hit. How about the rushing distribution for the Sooners?
Well, you know, we talked about the middle being soft. And in that fourth quarter against Colorado, we mentioned this right in the beginning of the game. Colorado had a lot of success against Nebraska straight up the middle in that fourth period. That's how they came back to beat the Sooners. And again, Nebraska, or Oklahoma rather, watching those tapes, have gone to the middle and been successful there.
More or less away from Kroll and Walker. They're running it. 2nd and 8. Rashid. Well, there's Walker, Petco, and others. LaAndre Anderson.
Every time I see Kenny Walker, I'm amazed. He's deaf. He reads lips. But remember, the linebackers wear mouthpieces in that huddle. He still reads their lips very well. He was a stand-up player until 2 years ago. He made a great adjustment. He had to get down on the 3-point stance, or down on the defensive line anyway, because of all the checks, all the calls. He wasn't able to hear him, so they moved him down there, and now he looks into the middle for hand signals from Engelbert.
Lost his hearing at age 2 after a high fever. Third down play, the pass well overthrown. Intended for Corey Warren. Momentum is shifting.
Oh, it has shifted right now. It's just whether Nebraska seizes the opportunity or not.
Tyrone Hughes, the only man back. Oh, Riddell got it away. And did he punt it? It went all the way into the end zone on the fly. 57 yards. Bruce Pickens down on the field as he came flying in there, trying to block the punt of Riddell, and he collided with one of his own teammates, I believe.
Absolutely. They come in. The outside guys are contained guys as much as blocking. They want to make sure there's no fake. They both laid out, went for the block, collided, and Pickens is still down.
Turn back the clock to when the world was a gentle.
Next Saturday night here on CBS, live from the Downtown Athletic Club, the Heisman Show at 6:30 p.m. And I'm with one of the former Heisman winners from Oklahoma. They're great running back in 1969. You won it, Steve Owens. What about this year's Heisman? Who do you like? Who did you vote for?
Well, I haven't voted yet, John. It's coming up. I need to get my ballot in by next Friday. So I have mixed opinions. A lot of good players. Bieniemy's a fine player. Dimner from BYU. Sean Moore from Virginia, and of course Ishmael from Notre Dame. So I think it's a toss-up right now. I don't think there's any clear-cut winner. I'm not going to tell you right now who I'm going to vote for because I really haven't decided.
But I know you're leaning towards that running back from the sounds of it. Hey, good luck to you. Back up to you, Jim Nance.
He said it's a toss-up, Jim. What do you think? You think he's leaning toward the tie?
Tie is in Detmer. I like Detmer right now.
I do too.
And I expect he's going to really have some big stats tomorrow when BYU goes against Utah State. Might lock it up for him. Flowers for a 1-yard gain. And Joe Bowden on him, along with Tom Backus.
I'm not sure Sean Jones is still alive either, but I mean Sean Moore rather, but Sean Moore had a great year. I wouldn't hesitate a lick to give him a vote.
No, I walked away from that Virginia-Georgia Tech telecast. I was, at that point, ready to give Moore from Virginia the Heisman. Herman Moore may have had the best performance I've seen all year by one single player in that game.
Sean Jones wasn't bad.
Intercepted. Blevins for Oklahoma. Grant, the quarterback, misses the tackle, but now down goes Blevins at the 20.
Not a well-thrown pass. Watch 35 Blevins. He's been playing with a sore shoulder. All conference type player. Never really had to move much. Didn't even get back into the hook zone. Just stayed in his linebacker area. And the big old 6'4" guy just reached up and used all that height. He's got a 6.5-yard wingspan, 6.5 feet wingspan. Just reached up that left hand and pulled it down.
He now has an interception and a fumble recovery in this game. Leading 21-10. Oklahoma right ahead they go up the middle with McKinley, who has scored a touchdown in this contest. Stoic Tom Osborne has coached more games in the Big 8 than anyone ever. More wins than anyone in Big 8 history. Still in great shape at age 53.
Dr. Tom jogs about 3 miles 5 times a week. Hastings College, pretty good player himself.
2nd and 4. Brewer off the pitch. Kroll has him. Close to the first. Kenny Walker on the tackle as well.
You know, Jim, it's been a very unusual game in that there really hasn't been a rhythm to it. Turnovers, of course, have been the big key thus far. Both teams still struggling to find that rhythm. Oklahoma's had the best running attack, but hasn't passed as much as we had anticipated. Nebraska, on the other hand, has not been able to run the ball and has passed more than we thought they would.
Nearing the midway point of the 3rd quarter, Oklahoma leading 21-10 and threatening. Fullback McKinley easily with the first.
Watch the push on the offensive line. That's what makes this play go. Everybody comes out, fires out. Sawatsky missed his block, then comes back and gets another one. Tries to help out on the linebacker. But right now, the offensive line for Oklahoma is just doing an outstanding job.
1st and goal from the 7th. McKinley scoring for the 2nd time today. Touchdown back that they had allowed Nebraska here in the 3rd. Lasher is good again. 28-10. Oklahoma after a 7-yard run for a score by McKinley.
Watch the left tackle right here. You know, that's Jeff Miller, number 57. Comes out, just seals off the linebacker right there, tire ants, and he comes right up behind him. He's working against the Big 8 scoring defensive leader, and he scores.
After clearing the way with a great block to free McKinley, it was truly Miller time on the sideline for Oklahoma. Jeff Miller, a senior from Bakersfield, California.
Jim, last year he was a backup guard. Now could be the best offensive lineman they have. They call him an everywhere player. He'll play anywhere on that line. Merv Johnson could be the best line coach in the country. It's been like the loaves and fish. He lacked depth, yet somehow multiplied the talent. One of the reasons is that guy, Jeff Miller.
Riddell kicks. Hughes elects to run it out from midway through the goal. And look at him go to the 30. Tackled by Riddell, the kicker, at the 40-yard line. He was the last man Tyrone Hughes had to beat. Oh. From 5 yards deep in the end zone. I thought this was going to be going all the way.
Riddell cut the angle on him. Takes it up. Watch, he'll find the crease. Now he explodes. Now it's only Riddell, but Riddell, coming from the hash mark, uses the sideline, takes the angle away, and just keeps breaking down until he has him.
Fake by Grant. Throws on the run. Intended for Mitchell, and a flag. And a flag as Belser and Dillard were in the area.
If that pass is catchable, that's a good flag, because it was definitely contact before the ball arrived. The thing that got me is the umpire was right there looking at it, didn't throw a flag. The flag actually came from the back judge, who was back by the 30-yard line.
Pass interference on the defense. Spot foul. First down.
Here it is coming at you now. See if the contact is made before the ball gets there. There it is. He's already riding him. He had the left hand. See, coming out of the right hand of your screen, on his back. The ball was definitely catchable. And Belser takes him down. It was definitely pass interference. Good call by the back judge.
Football at the Oklahoma 46. Inside run, Lance Lewis. And a gain of about 2. Dillard's on top of that pile. This Sunday, regional coverage coming your way, NFL-wise. Majority of the nation, however, will see the Giants unbeaten on the year against their NFC East rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. Other games, Chicago with Minnesota, Atlanta against the Saints, Tampa Bay waiting to get back on track against Green Bay. And you folks out west will get your game later, 1 o'clock Pacific time, 49ers and Rams. 2nd and 7. Grant this time will run it. Comes up about 4 yards shy of the first. Corey Mayfield ran him down.
Jim, I think Nebraska's a little bit shell-shocked right now. 28 points, the most scored against Nebraska this year. The offense is moving the ball effectively, but it's only been able to generate 10 points. Flowers, who averages almost 7 yards a carry today, has averaged just over 1.
He has scored Nebraska's only touchdown. However, that was the 1+ for him to this point. Hard to identify the player on the Nebraska sideline. If you just joined us, Nebraska's starting quarterback Mickey Joseph was injured in the opening minutes of this game. Went out with a leg injury and will not return today. Nebraska trailing 28-10 midway 3rd quarter.
My college football experience.
The injured player on the field, Corey Mayfield of Oklahoma, shaken up but now walking off under his own power and headed to the Sooner bench.
3rd down 4 for Nebraska.
Big 3rd down play coming up for Nebraska.
The biggest concern for this defense was when Mickey Joseph would pull the football down and scramble. It's like a chicken on a June bug, but when he went out with the injury, they didn't have to worry about that as much. But now they've got to be more concerned about the pass, more pass conscious.
Grant on the option. Diving near the first, did not take the football with him. Oklahoma has it. James Good on the recovery. Dillard, I believe, stripped it loose. James Good recovered. Watch 77 come in here and take the football away from Mike Grant.
Grant does try to cut back against the pursuit, but there's the strip right there, and the ball's knocked out. No question about it being a fumble. More importantly, that's the 4th turnover for Nebraska. That's been killing them in this ball game.
6'7" Stacy Dillard forces the turnover, and back come the Sooners with the big lead, 28-10. 6:30 to go in the 3rd. Option time. Gundy off right tackle, and he is swung down by the jersey, Travis Hill.
Travis Hill pulled it down.
You know, we can talk about Kroll all we want to today. Travis Hill, I think, is playing the ball game of his life. Every time they go in his direction, and they have gone that way just to stay away from Kroll, he has made the play. He will not get knocked out. He's flood control. He's forcing everything back in. He's got 8 tackles unassisted, and he's been in probably double that, assisting people. He's just running to the football. He's constantly around it.
2nd down and 9. This looks like a pass. Brewer gets it away lamely, and it's incomplete.
Well, in his defense, he was hit from behind. They were tugging on his jersey as he tried to throw. Mike Petco was right there. Had a hold of him when he tried to throw that pass. Look at that. That's a running back. Looks like a linebacker.
Lance Lewis, the fullback for Nebraska.
Got that little laceration over the eye. Doesn't want to put a Band-Aid on it. You know, the trainer always comes up and says, let me put a Band-Aid on it, a little septic stick, get the blood from stopping. But guys like that. You come out, you got a little blood looking like it's dripping down your face. Makes you look bad. Players don't mess with you.
Don't take that away.
That's a pride. You got to have that pride.
Timeout, Oklahoma.
Timeout by the Sooners with 5:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. Facing 3rd and 8. Gundy will talk it over with the young coach of the Sooners, Gary Gibbs. 2nd year as the head coach here, trying to beat his arch rival for the first time. Sky today in Oklahoma. 2 years ago when these two played here, there was a wind chill factor of 9 degrees. They played in the cold and rain, and Nebraska won 7-3. Today the Sooners with the big edge, 28-10, facing a 3rd and 8. They gave it to Brewer, and he is dropped for a loss. Hit by Pat Tyrants. Sooners will have to punt. Pat Tyrants, a senior from Omaha, Nebraska. He's applying right now to med schools with a 3.5 GPA. Married with a child, Pat III. His wife, the former Renetta Robinson, was the NCAA triple jump champion.
Defensive coordinator Charlie McBride said that Tyrants is one of the best kids he's had in his 14 years of coaching. Captain, leader, quality individual.
Coming after Riddell, but he easily gets it away. One hop, Hughes. DeQuazy on the hit. Spot the football at the 24. Right now, let's take it back down sideline. Bound we are to John Dockery.
Jim, I'm actually up in the stands, and we've been talking about Kenny Walker overcoming the adversity of deafness to become a star. Well, Mimi Mann has been on that odyssey with Kenny, and Mimi, so much success. How has it been with you and Kenny?
It's been a pure joy. It's been a joy not only to have the opportunity to work with this incredible program, with these incredible coaches, but also with this incredible young man.
We want to watch this play with Jim Nance, and then we'll come back. I want to ask you something else.
Huskers first down from their 24. Grant goes short. And that's Baldwin with the reception all the way out to the 47. Back to Doc.
Mimi, you've overcome so many obstacles, yet you're watching Kenny play his last game today. What kind of feelings is that evoking you?
Today, I feel bittersweet memories. This has been 5 years of memory makers for me, and even though he leaves and we aren't together every day like we are now, nobody can take away my memories, and I'll have those to cherish.
We'll go back to you, Jimmy, for a minute, and then Kenny's mother, Julia's here as well.
Now, after a gain of 23, Lance Lewis runs it right to the midfield stripe, Doc.
Julia, did you always know, did you ever think that Kenny would achieve this kind of success in such a difficult sport?
Oh, no, not really. Not to this point. It's great.
Was he always a fighter? You must be very proud of him.
Yes, always a fighter, and I am very proud of him.
Especially on this Thanksgiving Day. Well, congratulations to both of you. Jimmy?
Doc at 2nd and 7 for Nebraska. Pass underthrown for Bostic. Mrs. Walker has another son, Gus, who was sent over to Saudi Arabia just 2 weeks ago.
You know, when you talk with Kenny, and he's just such a personable individual with Mimi, and he says the only problem he has is during the film sessions when the lights are out. He needs her in there for that. She has worked with a lot of students at the University of Nebraska before Kenny got there, but this was the first athlete she had worked with and actually came out on the field with him to translate what the coaches were trying to achieve and trying to teach him out there.
3rd and 7. And right inside. A little confused by that play. Had they tried a fumble-rooski?
Absolutely. It was David Edel, the center. But it didn't work. One thing about Oklahoma, they're honed in. They know that Dr. Tom will come with a trick play at least once a ball game. Does every year, nothing new. So they tried to come, put it on the ground behind Edel, and it just didn't fake anybody out.
Seen that work for Nebraska before. I remember Oklahoma scoring a touchdown on it in a recent Orange Bowl. Mark Hudson scored. Oh, a high snap. Stiggy has it. Neiman, well, it's going to bounce on in there. Had the right idea, but 50 yards carries him right into the end zone. Bring it out to the 20. Let's set the Friday night lineup for you on CBS. It all gets started with Uncle Buck, followed by Baghdad Cafe, and then Over My Dead Body, and then one of my favorite shows of all time, Dallas. Be flying through Big D later tonight. Gonna join JR and company for that one. 3 minutes, 12 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Sooners in control, 28-10. Ernest Williams is the I-back. Gets the carry. Swinging around for a gain of 5.
Number 20, Ernest Williams on the carry. Tackled by 99.
They've just taken Corey Mayfield to the locker room. You remember he was injured a few minutes back. We'll get an update from you as soon as we get word from the Oklahoma locker room. Corey Mayfield, the starting nose tackle for the Sooners.
Jim, when you talk to the offensive people at Oklahoma, they said coming into this year with Cale Gundy, they wanted to get an even balance between the run and the pass. In this game, 38 runs, only 8 passes, but they've been so dominant on the ground.
Gundy picks up the football after it bounced right back into his hands and gains a yard.
Talking with Dan Picken at practice yesterday, the trainer at Oklahoma, he says one of the reasons the Sooners are so fresh, that they're playing so well, is because they've been practicing on the natural grass practice fields here and not on the turf. They've got fresher legs than they've had in the last couple of weeks.
Isn't he the guy that came to your help, your aid one time?
Yeah, he sure did. I was cooking some black and red fish. Hurt my hand out here in Norman.
Nice job. Gundy on 3rd and 4. Taken down by Tyrants.
Gundy's hurt. Gundy's hurt seriously. He's in pain.
Starting quarterback from Nebraska has already been taken out today. Face mask against the Nebraska defense. And now the Oklahoma starter, Cale Gundy, the freshman, in agony on the field.
Don't want to guess on the injury, but from up here, it almost looked like his legs got tucked in under him. and he came down in a funny direction on his legs.
This is brother Mike Gundy, the center of your screen. He is the Big 8 total offense all-time record holder from Oklahoma State. And the face mask and perhaps the left leg buckling under.
Boy, he was all out of sync there. It looked like his legs got caught under him. His neck was forced by the face mask. Watch this. Now his left leg is underneath of him right now. His head is bent backwards as well. And they're still working on him. Here's another different angle. Watch his left ankle, his left shoulder, his left arm, and his neck on that side were all kind of tucked in and forced under. And you had Kroll and Tyrants both there. So that's a good sign. He's up and he's moving. And everything seems to be in order and working.
Mike Gundy is now the receivers coach at his alma mater, Oklahoma State, but came over today to watch brother Cale play. Spent Thanksgiving together with the family last night.
What an outstanding player too, Jim. Most prolific passer in the history of Oklahoma State University, but for all its success was never able to beat Nebraska, and that's why his brother Cale came out and said he's dedicating this game for his brother.
Steve Collins takes over at quarterback. They have a first down after the penalty, the face mask penalty. And a sprint up the middle by Ernest Williams. Tackled by Tyrants. Let's tell you about Steve Collins. He's a sophomore from Ennis, Texas. And he started the first 5 games this year at quarterback for Oklahoma. Had a 4-1 record. Last year, he quarterbacked in this game against Nebraska and rushed for over 70 yards. Passed for another 100. He's a good option operator. And he comes in now for the injured Gundy. 2nd and 7. Here he pitches it to Williams. Williams shakes free for the first. Cooper finally takes him out, but it's a first down Oklahoma in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. Now let's get the injury report from the Dockster. John?
You know, Jim, if you follow me in a little bit like this, you might be able to see that they're working on Cale Gundy's left arm and around the elbow. And they've actually just frozen it. He was in some pain, but didn't appear to be that injured. And you see him standing up right now, trainer talking to him, but it was the left arm, left elbow. Appears to be okay. Back to you guys.
It was that whole left side that got caught under there in a funny way.
But that's good news, it appears. First down play for the Sooners. Inside, McKinley roaming free. Look at him push down Bird. McKinley races in for his 3rd touchdown of the game.
Song in your sleep. Boomer Sooner. Steve Collins just excels in the option play. They are not predetermined reads either. He takes the snap, reads the defense. Outstanding read there.
Longest run of McKinley's career, 48 yards, his 3rd touchdown. Last year again good on the extra point. Had 3 touchdowns on the season coming in. He's matched that today.
Watch Sawatsky right here. Come over here and make the block. This is the read, though, by Collins. Gets out of the way. Here comes Sawatsky. Pulls. Bang. Makes the block. Here comes McKinley underneath. Gets into the secondary. Picks up another block out there from Cooper, big number 99. Then McKinley just looks down and he says, hey, Bird's not going to get me. No way. Just stiff arms him and runs it in. He's got 87 yards, 3 touchdowns. Takes Bird out of the play here. I told you Bird's only 165 pounds. McKinley's 225. Uses that strength. Just forces him out of the way. But what a great block by Sawatsky. Cooper came into the secondary and cleaned up there. Great execution by Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner, 35-10. I'm shocked. I had no clue.
Tyrone Bird will not want to see that replay too many times.
No, he won't. Nebraska came in here. We talked about it. Tom Osborne had addressed the team, said in his wacky year of college football, we still got a shot at the national championship if we can stay unbeaten and go in and play unbeaten Georgia Tech, or stay unbeaten the rest of the way is 9-1, but go play unbeaten Georgia Tech in the bowl game and get some help from the other bowls, we can win the national title. They're getting blown out here now, 35-10.
Coming in to this game, Nebraska had allowed only 6 points in the third quarter in the first 10 games of the season. 14 in this quarter today by the Sooners. Blowing that stat right out of the water. Tyrone Hughes will not run out this time. Bring the football to the 20. Final minute of the third quarter. Again on Sunday, the NFL Today will start off our action at 12:30 Eastern Time. Join Greg and Terry and Leslie and Pat for all the coverage leading up to game time. Special on Bill Parcells, a feature. Parcells and the Giants, unbeaten on the year, will then take on Philadelphia. Regional coverage, most will see that game. Out west, the Rams and the 49ers, as the 49ers go for the all-time consecutive victory record. Bullet pass to Bostic. Good for a quick 17. How about John Bostic, junior from Washington? He is now wearing the 4th different uniform number in his career. Started out with 8, switched to 5, went to 4, and now he's at 18.
I think he had number 31 in there too. He's bounced around. He's had all kinds of numbers. And you know what happened? He'd take a number, somebody get healthy, used to have that number, he'd have to give it back to him.
Baldwin. Good hit put on Baldwin. That'll probably be the last play of the third quarter. That was Darrell Kirby colliding in on him. So through 3, the score is Oklahoma 35, Nebraska 10. Our coverage continues after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of today's CFA game is sponsored by Hewlett-Packard LaserJet printers. They'll get you noticed. AT&T, the right choice. And by UPS, now offering 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery.
Well, the Oklahoma Sooners have struck oil today. Scored 35 points, trouncing Nebraska 35-10 as we begin the fourth quarter. Second and long play and incomplete. Intended for Bostic. One thing about Mike Grant, last year he wanted to be redshirted and he refused to enter a game early in the season. Of course, Tom Osborne won that altercation. Eventually Grant had a shoulder separation after 5 games and was out the rest of the year.
He was hampered through most of spring practice by a sore right throwing shoulder. Finished spring drills with a strong spring game, though, and then, as you mentioned, got a lot of playing time early this year.
3rd and 9. Overthrows. Look out. DeQuazy. Greg DeQuazy. Touchdown, Oklahoma. A 45-yard run back for Greg DeQuazy. His 4th interception of the year and the 2nd time on the season he's run it back for a score. pressure. Good again on the extra point. He's 50 for 50 on the season in PATs.
Boy, the floodgates have opened. You know, when you're down by a big deficit like this, you know they're going to throw. So here comes DeQuasie, the middle back. Look at him. The nickel back just sitting there, just playing center field, playing free. Makes the pick. Almost looked like it was thrown right at him on purpose. And then he comes down, gets the big block, makes the cut left, and scores.
Greg DeQuasie intercepting a pass and scoring on the second play of the final quarter. DeQuasie's from Midwest City, Oklahoma, and was the all-state quarterback at Midwest City High School. Once he finished his high school career, he was replaced at his high school by a guy named Cale Gundy.
Let me add a note to that versatility. He's the nickel back, but he's played all 4 defensive backfield positions.
Picked up on the hop by Turner. Ricochet off his own teammate, running out to the 21. Travis Thompson on the hit.
Mentioned that Nebraska's not a great come-from-behind team, and the reason is they are not a great passing team, never have to throw. The pass for Nebraska is most effective when the running game is working. And then nobody expects it. You come back and you have the sprint option pass, but now trailing by 42-10, you know they're going to throw, you know they should throw, you know they will throw. So you just sit back in a two-deep situation.
Got a new quarterback in there, Tim. Tom Hawes, a junior. He's only thrown 3 passes this year. He hands off to Baldwin on first down. So the third-team quarterback, Tom Hawes, in there for Nebraska.
He's a Nebraska native, just a junior. Coming into this game, Nebraska led the Big 8 in rushing, total yards, scoring, and passing. Today they only have 98 yards rushing and 107 through the air.
Second down and 8. Let's check out Hawes. He zips it right past Bostic. Set up 3rd and 8.
John Bostic is complete.
Timmy, some tragic news has just come our way. Former Major League Baseball player Bo Diaz, 13 years in the majors as a catcher, was tragically killed today at his home in Venezuela. He was trying to install a satellite dish. Bo Diaz leaves behind a wife and 2 children. Nebraska will have to punt now, facing 4th and 5. Hawes on the keep, Joe Bowden on the tackle.
See, this is going to become fun now for Oklahoma. They can just really lay their ears back and get after them. Secondary can play soft, can play aggressively, whatever the case may be. You want to play deep, not let them get by you, but you can come underneath and be aggressive. And up front, you know they're just going to come after the quarterback. You don't have to respect the run as much.
Mike Stiggy to punt once again. Timeout called by the Cornhuskers.
That's their first this half. They'll have 2 remaining.
Why the timeout?
I'm not sure unless there was a mix-up down there, unless they want to get something going, but there looked to be a little bit of confusion.
We'll take one with them. The Sooners blowing out Nebraska, 42-10. 10th ranked Nebraska, trailing by 32 and in punt formation. Packed house at Owen Field. Almost got to him. Bring out the flag. They got the punter. This run back by Taylor will be wiped out. They ran into the kicker. Greg Irvin, I believe, was the man who hit him. Oklahoma was coming, even with that huge lead.
Well, that's what, you know, we said they can just lay their ear back and come. They're all having fun now. You want to see some guys come in and try to make a big play. There was no question about that. He was trying to lay out and hit him. It wasn't flagrant, but it did get him.
First pretty good acting job, given the...
Well, if they determine that a guy does act, you know, they can throw a flag on him. But they didn't, and there was contact.
I thought Stiggy might qualify for the Laurence Olivier Award.
We're running into the kicker. 5 yards on the defense. Repeat, 4th down after 5 yards.
See, it wasn't roughing the kicker, obviously. It was just running into the kicker, so they'll just move him down 5. There was contact. You can't have that. Still, you don't get the first. He's got to kick again.
Great acting or contact?
There's the contact. Just got leg whipped. His left leg got it. He did miss the right leg, the punting leg, but then he got the left leg.
Stiggy.
Face.
Stiggy will punt again. It's not an automatic first. Otis Taylor will run back another one. Boy, he drilled that one back to the 21. Taylor hesitates, now goes up the middle and is knocked down by George Acola. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team for the 20th consecutive year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program. $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. 12:53 left in this contest.
So-called experts had a tough time picking a winner in this one. They said it was going to be a close ball game. Couldn't even decide which team was the favorite. And now it's 42-10 Oklahoma.
And Gundy returns. Kind of wrapping on his left elbow, but he's back in. And Ernest Williams on the carry. Doesn't make any sense, really, for Gundy to be back into the game with this huge a lead.
Can't understand it, except for the fact I think Cale Gundy asked to come back into the ball game, wants to play in the game. Say hyperextended that elbow, so that's not really that serious. It just means it bent back the wrong way and stretched some things in there, and you just tie it down and go. But I agree with you. I don't think he should be in there. Coach Gibbs said he wanted to look at this, evaluate some people for next year. He knows what Cale Gundy can do.
2nd and 8. And why are they passing? Rashid dragged down to the 34. That's about 2 yards short of the first. Andre Anderson brought him down. And let's bring back in John Dockery. Doc?
You know, Tim, Jim, you and Tim were speculating about why Gundy's back in. Well, it was interesting to watch along the sidelines. Gary Gibbs was very unsure about whether to send Gundy back in, so they had a little powwow with the trainer and the coach and Gundy. And Gundy was the one that was very aggressive about going back into the game, almost talked his way back in the game, because I kind of agree with you guys. Why in the world would you risk your future and present in a game like this when you head 42-10?
No reason to at all. 3rd and 2. Inside run by Rashid, and he tries to lean for the first. It'll depend on the spot. Petco on the hit.
Then the other question, of course, is why the play before that where they're trying to set up a reverse screen to the backside. You want to be careful here with a 42-10 score. Most years this game is for the Big 8 title and extremely competitive. You don't want to rub it in and give somebody grist for the mill that they can come back and use as inspiration the following year.
Season ends today for Oklahoma. Not eligible for a bowl because of the NCAA probation. They'll finish the year at 8-3, and this is certainly something to build on for next year when they can go to a bowl. Nebraska will drop to 9-2 and head on to the Citrus Bowl to face Georgia Tech January 1. Ernest Williams. He was brought down by Steve Carmer.
Tackle number 31, Steve Carmer.
Well, the national championship race, Colorado's regular season is over. We'll head on to the Orange Bowl, ranked number 1 to face Notre Dame. Miami has Syracuse on the schedule tomorrow, and then next week, Miami will play at San Diego State. 2 more games for Miami. Georgia Tech has 1 left. That's against arch rival Georgia. That's Rashid picking up a first down for the Sooners as they use the clock.
You know, if I'm Bobby Ross at Georgia Tech, I'm starting to scream right now that I should be the national champion. He's got to play Georgia, then go play Nebraska in the Citrus, but I would start letting people know that I'm the only unbeaten team in the nation.
know, BYU beat Miami early in the season. Miami's got 2 losses and still ranked ahead of them. BYU has been pretty stagnant. Been a lot of teams jumping over them as this crazy season unwinds. But BYU, very difficult formula to figure out a way they're going to win the championship.
Well, a lot of voters will come in and say, well, Colorado and Miami both are stronger than Georgia Tech. I'm not so sure that really should come into it. They're unbeaten. They've done everything on their schedule they possibly can. Move them up there.
Movement on the left side as Steve Collins has come back at quarterback. Gundy is out. Steve Collins is in. New Year's Day, well, as we see Steve Collins, New Year's Day now sets up his 2 important games. Miami wins the last 2. Miami and Texas in the Cotton. Of course, Texas hasn't had that clinch to this point, with Baylor and A&M still on the schedule. But then later in the day, of course, the Colorado-Notre Dame game. Those 2 games.
Don't lose sight of the citrus, though, a little bit earlier, where you've got Georgia Tech trying to remain unbeaten.
Ernest Williams running out of bounds near midfield. Spotted at the 47 of the Sooners.
You know, I'm really happy for Gary Gibbs, head coach at Oklahoma. We've mentioned and we showed you how he had struggled against the stronger teams in the conference, but he came in such adverse conditions to take over for Barry Switzer. Reputation of the team had been soured through the media and, of course, the things that had taken place here on campus. And rightfully so. There was some awful wrongdoing going on, but he came in. He's really rectified the situation, lived through the sanction, and seems to really turn things around here at Oklahoma.
This will be by far his biggest win in 2 years at Oklahoma. 2nd and 11. Collins keeps. Moves it into Nebraska territory. Really is, if you think about it, the first big win for Gary Gibbs. Sure, you could say that earlier in the year they beat UCLA, but UCLA has struggled really a large part of the season. And against his arch rivals, 0-2 Texas, lost to Colorado back-to-back years, and Nebraska beat him last year 42-25. But he's got something to build on today. Just 38 years old, former player here. He was a starter on the 1974 national championship team. 16 years in all on the staff. The linebacker was Gibbs. 3rd and 7. No first down as Mike Kroll was right in on the play as they ran it to the short side. Ernest Williams tackled for no gain.
Well, Gary Gibbs said coming into this season, the 2 buzzwords to describe the Sooners were better but uncertain, which translates, I think, into inconsistency, and he certainly has rectified that. You know, in the game against Texas, they were cruising along. They were 5-0. R.D. Lasher misses a field goal he normally would make. They lose that one. They come back the following week against Iowa State. They lose that one on a field goal, and then Colorado beat them. But they're just a couple of field goals away from being very close to that #1 spot.
Liddell handles the low snap. Fair catch called at the 9 by Tyrone Hughes. 8 minutes, 20 seconds left in the contest. We'll be right back. Mike Petco, linebacker from Nebraska. First down for the Cornhuskers. Pause remains the quarterback. It's Derek Brown on the run to the 15.
Derek Brown,
Curtis Cotton of the Cornhuskers.
I don't think there's anybody wearing a white jersey that came into Norman, Oklahoma that could have expected anything even close to this.
2nd down and 5. Pause. Oh, he took a stick from Stacy Dillard and tumbles about a yard shy of the first.
First down, get it out of here.
All Nebraska had to do coming into this game was gain 170 yards rushing to win the NCAA rushing title. Otherwise, Northern Illinois would get that glory. They've got work left before they're going to win that. There's a first down and good yardage by Derek Brown. Bumped out at the 30, maybe the 29, a 10-yard run.
Of course, keep in mind they lost Mickey Joseph on the second series of the game. The quarterback, he ran for 541 yards coming into this attack. Very dangerous guy, quick feet. Most dangerous when he takes the ball and tucks it away and runs with it and scrambles. But you take him out of that offense and it changes dramatically. Of course, 5 turnovers for Nebraska today has really been the major factor.
Hawes completes the pass to Hughes. Good tackle in the open field made by DeQuasie. Well, those Heisman ballots have to be in by the end of the week. And the Rocket is certainly one of the candidates, and in the minds of many, the favorite at this point. Although I think that Ty Detmer at this moment has the lead if there's such a race underway.
Strictly my opinion, I think a lot of the Rocket is just having played at Notre Dame and getting that exposure. There's no question how dangerous he is. But when you look at what guys have meant to their team, like Sean Moore and Ty Detmer and Eric Bieniemy, another loose ball.
Another loose ball picked up by Oklahoma. Joe Bowden. Now, if they fumbled it past the line of scrimmage, they can run it back. The officials will have to determine. They're going to say he fumbled it before he crossed the line of scrimmage. Derek Brown was hit. They're going to bring the football back, give it to Oklahoma at the 33. Now 6 turnovers on the game for Nebraska.
See if it's behind the line of scrimmage. There's the line of scrimmage right there. He's right at the line of scrimmage when he lets that ball go. I think he's across it. It's picked up in the backfield, so they bring it back. And they'll mark it.
Joe Bowden, who told us, you may have heard it earlier, he said, I just don't see a way we can lose. I don't think they can run on us. He was very confident about his defense. And they really have dominated today. Look at it. He's got the football tucked away. He's going to take it back. No one's seen it yet.
Coaches say he is the next great linebacker at Oklahoma. Oklahoma had benefited by the influx of junior college players this year. It's been the quick fix in the secondary. Darnell Walker's a starter. 3 JUCO players have been contributors. That gives the Sooners some older, experienced consistency, which really helped them carry through some tough times when they had the 3 straight losses this year and came back to make this season a success.
Let's give Tracy Gordon credit for knocking the ball loose from Derek Brown, and Bowden on the recovery. 6 minutes to go. 42-10 Oklahoma. Steve Collins remains the quarterback. There's a stick at the line. Ernest Williams on the run. Lance Lewis of Nebraska. Well, Ty Detmer of BYU has 2 games left on his schedule. Utah State tomorrow and Hawaii on Heisman Day. In fact, he may in fact be awarded the Heisman Trophy from the islands. 20 NCAA passing records, throws for over 300, at least 300 yards every game. 2nd down 9. Collins keeps on the option, and he's double whammy.
Of course, Detmer burned his talents into the memory banks of all the voters in that nationally televised game against Miami early in the season. Kind of set the stage for things. He was outstanding in that game. They upset the Hurricanes.
It was all the way back on September the 8th. He riddled Miami for 400 yards passing.
We saw him against San Diego State. We talked to Lavelle Edwards, and he told us that he thought that the Heisman Trophy was there for Ty to win. He just didn't have to lose it. You know, just don't do anything that could take the voters away from his talents.
3rd and 12. And Ernest Williams bumped out well short of the first. John Crippen gets credit for the tackle. Well, David Klingler has a game in Tokyo on Heisman Day against Arizona State.
He's ridden a roller coaster, hadn't he? First they say he can't win it because he's following Andre Ware. Then they say his success is because of the system, the run and shoot. Then he has a couple of great games, and they say he might be for real.
50-yard attempt by Lasher. Oh, no. That one was going sideways from the start. 4:54 left in the game. You know, Tim, one thing about Georgia Tech, and I know you've stated you believe that Georgia Tech should be considered in the national championship race. This game, I believe, right here hurts, very much hurts Georgia Tech. It will not give them that high credibility should they beat a 10-1 Nebraska. They're going to be now getting a 9-2 Nebraska coming into the Citrus that will now drop from number 10 to probably 17, 18 in the polls.
You're absolutely 100% correct. I was talking to some Georgia Tech coaches here today that are here to scout and watch the game. They wanted Nebraska to win big.
Pause. Change in direction. Now he is picked off. He is intercepted by Tony Levy. Turnover number 7. Chad Patrick really forced the turnovers. He came running down on Pause, who unwisely just threw it up for grabs. Levy on the interception, his first of the season. Corey Johnson, the third-team fullback, gains a couple.
We should have known it was going to be a weird day when we got here and people were out sunbathing in Norman, Oklahoma at the end of November. Just a strange situation.
Second down 6. Check that to the 34-yard line.
Well, yesterday we both had 2 feasts, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. Collins still has the trail man, Williams, doing a good job to pick up yardage to the 27. And Eric Bieniemy, we of course have to include Eric in the Heisman race. He is second in the nation in rushing. Hey, you know, the Big 8 has the 2 leading rushers in the country with Gerald Hudson of Oklahoma State. Looks like he may win the national rushing championship. Bieniemy just behind. First time ever 2 Big 8 teams, 2 Big 8 players were 1-2 in that stat. Rushing yards. Pat Tyrants makes the tackle on 3rd and a yard. I believe they've got the first. Corey Johnson picks up the first down. Tomorrow, we've got more college football action coming your way. From Happy Valley, Penn State, 8-2 on the year, will challenge the Pittsburgh Panthers. 2 o'clock Eastern time. College football today with Andrea Joyce and Mike Francesa on their way back to New York.
Big opportunity for Paul Hackett and Pitt going against the hot Penn State team coming off that win against Notre Dame.
Williams out of bounds at the 16. 3:07 left in the game.
I was going to say, talk about some bowl matchups. How about Penn State, Florida State? That'll be interesting, too.
Penn State should be playing on New Year's Day. I think it's really almost borders on criminal, is the fact that Penn State is not playing in a January 1st bowl. Going to be 9-2 most likely at the end of the regular season. But since all the deals were cut early in November, everyone had Penn State losing to Notre Dame. So they had to settle for a non-January 1 bowl. That is a great matchup.
People were giving that game away last week at halftime, saying Penn State had no shot. They came back, roaring back in South Bend and won it.
I was going to tell you earlier, you know, we had the 2 feasts yesterday. I thought we'd seen all the turkey we were going to have for the whole week. But Oklahoma today has...
this could be the biggest one yet.
They've beaten the stuffing out of Nebraska. Ouch. 2:30 left. Ernest Williams to the 12. You know, that second quarter, 21 points for Oklahoma. Just exploded in that quarter. And the fullbacks today, Rashid and McKinley, who scored the 3 touchdowns. 177 yards from the fullback spot.
Of course, Rashid's like a tailback playing in a fullback's body, 238-pounder, and then you bring in McKinley. McKinley has all the scores. Got 2 fullbacks going for a combined almost 1,000 yards.
Williams on the first down run gets to the 8. They may score again as we move under 2 minutes left in the contest. Nebraska was allowing only 10 points a game coming into this one.
Second down 7.
Who'd you go with? Second down, we'll call it 7. Ernest Williams bouncing around to the 5. We may have 2 more snaps to cross the goal line and make it a thorough thrashing. Well, it already is, really. 3rd and 4.
Thorough enough if you're wearing a white jersey today.
Collins with the fake. That Tyrants takes him out. And they're going to bring out R.D. Lasher, the place kicker.
36 seconds left. Just sit on it, down the ball. Don't kick the field goal. It's 42-10. Sack them up and go home. Oh, I don't know about this.
Lasher will attempt the field goal with 20 seconds remaining. It's his 3rd field goal try of the day. A 24-yard attempt is good with only 9 seconds left.
Well, you don't want to run the score up, but in all fairness to Oklahoma, Lasher's been struggling. Really has been down a little bit, hadn't been able to kick the ball very well. So maybe they're giving him a shot. I just wouldn't have done it. I would have downed the ball right then. Let the clock run.
Could have downed it. The game would be over by now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would have packed them up and let them get in the house. Let these guys go back to Lincoln. This is a good ball club. Let them pack up and hold their heads high and go back and regroup for the Citrus Bowl. You don't want to rub it in. That could come back and haunt you the next year. I'm sure, though, Gary Gibbs wasn't trying to rub it into Nebraska. I think he's just trying to help that guy right there, Lasher. It's been a tough year for him.
And he's a senior, and that will end his career for him at Oklahoma.
Of course, his brother played. His brother, an outstanding kicker. R.D. is an outstanding kicker, but as long as he lives and comes back here, people will remind him of that field goal he missed against Texas and how he struggled against Iowa State the next year. It's good to see him hit this one. I just wouldn't have done it.
(45-10) with 9 seconds left.
Derek Brown and Tyrone Hughes are deep for the Huskers.
Tim, with that field goal, R.D. Lasher just tied his brother Tim for most successful field goals in a season with 15 made. So there's a reason the Lashers will jointly be in the record book. Tyrone Hughes. Hughes out to the 38. Time for one more snap.
Terry Ray on the tackle.
Well, as we close the book on this one, I've got to tell you, it's been fun, partner, spending Thanksgiving with you. And when you're away from the family, it's always tough. But you and your wife certainly made it enjoyable. And everybody working this game, everybody in the crew, has been fantastic. It was enjoyable spending Thanksgiving with them as well. They deserve a lot of credit. Everybody out on the road during the holidays.
Certainly do, Tim. And happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the rest of the weekend to everybody out there. Knockdown, the game is over at last. 45-10 Oklahoma. An onslaught today, and Gary Gibbs has his biggest victory in his second year as the Sooners coach.